Hey everybody, we are live. Sorry it took a couple of minutes to get started there. I'm hosting tonight, so there's going to be technical issues. Tonight, oh, hold on, Peanut Gallery. I didn't introduce you guys yet. Hold on. So tonight is tags. Things are getting sketchy. 90s Muppet Mashup. We have an amazing group with us here tonight. We have Casey Wilson. We have Karl Waller. We have a super cool dude, Nathan Burton Phillips, and that's only because we have the same name. And we have Tomas Day as well. So everybody say hi, and then you can start talking.
Hi.
What's up?
All right. Okay, so who wants to do what first? Who wants to tell what they're doing first? Just jump right in. All right, nobody's doing that. So I will select. Karl, why don't you go first? Because I know you have a pretty cool one. I don't know if Karl can hear us or if Karl is maybe not talking. I'm not sure because he was having a little bit of issues before, but Karl can hear us because we can't hear you.
He told me he was mad at you. Messaged me.
That's okay. I'll come back to Karl. Tomas, why don't you tell us what you're drawing tonight?
I am going to make Janice tonight, like Kill Bill style Janice.
Like in the yellow jumpsuit?
Yeah.
Holding katanas?
Yeah.
How old am I?
Nice. I like that. That's a good one. That's definitely a good one.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Love it.
Well, let's see if I can pull it off before you get excited.
Oh, man, careful. There might be kids watching here. All right. And Miss Casey, what are you going to be drawing tonight?
All right. Well, you know me. I like to bring more than one concept, so I have something to switch between while paper dries.
Okay.
I am starting on Animal, tearing towards the screen with the banner falling around him when Muppets ruled the Earth, like the
Nice.
T-Rex out of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's very cool.
Yep. And then later, I have been drawing up Gonzo and Camilla the Chicken as Link and Navi from Ocarina of Time.
That's pretty cool. When you start drawing there, can you move your picture over to the right a little bit?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you. Just so we can see it. There you go. That's a little bit better.
Okay.
Nice. All right. And let's see here. Nathan, what are you drawing this evening?
I am doing a Fuzzy Bear as the Joker from Batman 451.
Awesome.
90s.
Pretty
Instead of
cool.
shooting up bats, he's gonna shoot up some chickens.
That's awesome. And I can hear the North Carolina bird there, so Karl must be able to hear us now. So I will check with him and see. Karl, are you with us now? It's so weird. He's not with us, but I can hear the bird though.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just left the room for a second.
Maybe he's just not.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he's
maybe
just.
he's just not in the
I
room.
think Karl's just fucking with us, man. He's probably laughing in the other room, having a drink, looking at us. Either way. All right, you guys. We were having lots of crazy, good conversations before we start, so you guys can continue on with some of those conversations now. Do you remember what you guys were talking about a little bit at all? I know we were talking about we were talking about bad habits and stuff and that too, but let's not talk about that on air. How about we start off on what's everybody working on right now besides these Muppet projects? Nathan, you're still in South Africa doing tattoo work right now, right?
I'm still doing tattoo work in South Africa, leaving very soon for Colorado, and then I'll be over there, back in time zone.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So with you doing the tattoo work, you're not really having much of a chance to do much side work in that art-wise, right?
Yeah, no, art-wise, I've been basically just doing a lot of tattooing. Yeah, finishing up pieces that I've started a while back and just carrying on with newer pieces as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been fun. I've had a lot of fun. I did a cool Batman and Superman and Spider-Man mashup piece.
That's cool.
All Jim Lee drawings. That is on my page if you want to go look at it on
That's
Nathan
cool.
Phillips _art. It's a cool piece. So we'll still do color on that and add a couple more characters before I leave. And then when I come back, I'll do some more, hopefully.
Very cool. What time is it right now where you are?
It's 1:20 in the morning.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Wow.
This is my thrive time.
Is it? That's funny. I wouldn't get up this morning at 3:00 my time to watch the coronation. So the fact that you're up at 1:00 in the morning to join us is pretty cool. So
Awesome.
Miss Casey, what kind of stuff have you got going on besides on the drawing table tonight?
So I've actually got a few things going on for once. I had a really good set of conversations and connections at C2E2 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 little projects that I've joined up with. One I don't think is developed enough to discuss yet, but the other is a short little book that I might be able to bring with me to Granite State this year, which I think is so cool. It's monster hunters, right?
Mm-hmm.
They discover a terrible death and realize that it was an ordinary, mundane murder.
And not monsters?
Yeah, exactly. Monster hunters discover a murder instead of ordinary cops discover a werewolf killing. Kind of flips the expectation. But
oh wow, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also doing a little side project to present at a gaming convention that's coming up. A little book of NPCs, non-player characters that people can use.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Just because it's fun to draw all of the different people.
Yeah, that's cool. That is neat. Gives you more of a, I guess not more of a range, but more of a way just to test yourself. Widen the scope, right?
A variety of projects. Keep me moving.
Yeah. For your paint or your piece you're working on right now, I know you're doing pencils, but are you going to paint it after?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
You can't have Muppets without color.
Well, I just remember when you did the last time we were working together, you did the X-Files Muppets one that was painted, and it was great.
Yep. I am planning on painting. Trying to decide whether I want to go in with color or ink first.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about doing something wilder since the tags ones are always originals. But maybe next time.
Okay. And I think we might have Karl again because we did some configuring here. So, Karl, are you with us now?
I lost all audio on you guys.
They're awesome. That's good. So, what are you going to be drawing tonight for us? Karl.
What?
What are you going to draw for us tonight?
We're doing
Week on hearing.
Terminator 2 with the Kermit as the T-1000.
Nice.
And you'll have Miss Piggy having shot holes through him with her shotgun, like Sarah Connor.
That's going to be so awesome. So, yeah, all these pieces will be up for auction early next week. And I think already there's probably a few people out there thinking, man, I want that piece already because it sounds pretty awesome. So,
See if I can pull off a liquid metal up part of it.
I'm just kind of seeing the blue outline there a little bit because it's pretty light, and I think you're gonna do it. So I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure all of you saw it because you're all faithful tag watchers and followers and that. So how excited is everyone that the new Tags Volume 3 book is in?
I know, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Definitely excited.
Me too. Me too.
Can't wait to get back to get mine.
Yeah, I've been kind of missing in action, so I think I got like one piece in it.
That's all right. There's always going to be more.
Not sure.
She says you're talking really low.
Linda just said I sound really low.
You just have to yell. That's all.
Matt,
Yeah, put some feeling behind it. Don't we mean anything to you, man?
Yeah, pretend we're pissing you off on Facebook. Did anybody happen to make it out for free comic book day today?
Yes.
Yeah?
Lucky.
Yeah, here.
You got some, or were you out at a
Yeah,
shop
here.
doing
I
stuff?
got it in my hall.
Cool.
All right. So my shop lets you take more than 5 if you buy something. So I
nice.
bought a cool, vaguely historical mystery.
That is a good. Have you read that series? It's a
No,
good
I've
series.
this is the first time I saw it today, and I picked it up because it looks so good.
Oh yeah, it's a great series.
All right, so here's what I chose. I picked.
That's a great series.
Barbaric #1.
Yep.
West
That's
of
a great
Sundown.
series.
Godzilla, because I love Godzilla, and
Yeah,
the idea of a Godzilla kids book is wild.
That one's pretty okay. It's not as great as the other
Damn
ones.
it with faint praise, why don't you? Fright Night.
That one's pretty good.
The Sacrificers, just because the art style was unusual, and I want to see where it goes.
That one I'm not familiar with. That might be a new book.
Yep, Red Sonja, because you kind of have to.
Yes, for sure. I'm a huge fan of hers. Oh, is that one, that anime one? Yeah, that one looked weird. I haven't read it
I
yet.
like monster books, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the cover was
Turtles,
cool.
I had to.
Yep.
Ooh, wait, they're trying to bring Rise into I haven't looked at this one yet.
That's
Archie Cursed Library.
apparently that book there tells the story of how the horror series started for the Archie lineup.
I love it. And then
Yeah.
I got the Street Fighter book just to see what they're trying to do with it.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Next,
my
is it
comic
next
book day
week?
haul.
Very
I think
cool.
it's next week, or the next week after that is the Street Fighter versus Ninja Turtles book comes out.
Interesting.
Yep. They have Turtles crossovers with everything nowadays, because that's the only property that IDW has now. And they're trying to make some cash while they can. Unfortunately.
Hey, if Turtles saves IDW, I don't mind.
No, me too. I'm a huge Turtles fan, and I like IDW. Yeah, I know a lot of places. They in the last few years they've kind of cracked down on how many books you take, because some people will just go in there and just grab handfuls of everything and that. So, the local store in my area was you could take 6 books, one up to 6 books. So that's all right.
Mhm.
But I'm very excited because that same store, not the Saturday, but on the Sunday, on Mother's Day, yeah, we get to meet Chip Zdarsky.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's going across Canada doing a tour, promoting stuff. So his one stop in Winnipeg will be at that store. Thomas, we have your screen
Yo.
on the screen right now, and you're I'm watching you like kind of carve away there digitally. Is that basically all it really is? It's like you're just kind of like almost like whittling away, but just digitally, and then sometimes you're adding to it. And
Yeah, depending on what part I'm making, it could be a different process. Sometimes it's building like blocks. Sometimes it's like virtual clay, where I'll carve into it and build up certain things.
okay,
Like when I build her sword, I'm gonna probably pop open my CAD program, and it's because that's better for hard edge modeling, like
okay,
solid things like cars and buses and swords and rockets. It's a lot better for smooth things. So
Okay.
yeah, it ranges from different techniques.
So when it's done and you printed out the physical copy of it, what will be the dimensions, the size wise of that?
This is probably going to be about 5 or 6 inches tall.
That's pretty big.
Yeah. And she'll probably be all printed in one piece. Usually I'll do separate pieces so I can fit them all in the printer, but she's kind of slender, and I think I can get her in there
That's cool.
in one piece. It'd be
And
pretty
then
cool.
when it comes out, then you paint it, or then
Yeah. I'll hit it with some primer and then throw some paint on it, and that'll be it.
That's amazing.
It's a process for sure.
Do you work with like the other mediums of art as well? Like
Yeah, I do
like
a lot of drawing
painting
and
and that,
painting, and I don't do so much clay sculpting anymore since I started the digital stuff, but I have the itch to do it every now and then, so I might have to get back into it sooner or later.
Sure.
Yeah, but I do miss that. And I'm a musician too, so I got a lot of different outlets.
Nice.
Renaissance man.
You
What
know
kind
what
of
I mean?
music? What do you play music wise?
Rock music, yeah.
Okay.
And back when I lived in Boston, we used to do a lot of
Okay.
rock and funk and Prince songs.
Oh, you're looping now.
I'm looping?
You're looping.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you did. I saw you.
Am I open?
Well, maybe I did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that any better?
Nope.
I literally didn't touch any audio stuff, so I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Oh, you know, I think I know what it is. Hold on a sec. Don't talk.
Now I have
All
an
right.
old Iggy Pop song stuck in my head.
Which is what?
Which song? Oh,
What?
Iggy Pop? Did you say Iggy Pop?
Yeah,
Which song is it?
Candy.
Oh, yeah, nothing.
Good one.
The one he sang with the redheaded chick from.
Can everyone hear me?
the
I can
Beacon
hear you, yeah.
Blues.
Yeah, I can't hear. What's his name? Speak.
You can't hear Carl? It's weird we're having these technical issues, but
It's weird, but it's alright.
that's okay.
I figure out what he's saying with people
Okay.
speaking.
Okay. What about you, Thomas? You're okay? You can hear me? I can hear you?
I can hear everybody, yeah.
Yeah, and you're not looping now, so that seems to be okay.
Nice.
We'll just keep going as much as we can, and
Yeah.
we'll go with
Down.
that.
Our cat Knox has decided he's coming into the studio.
Oh,
and
no.
He loves to go. He does parkour in the studio.
I never used to be a cat fan, and then I'm still not really a cat fan. But then my daughter-in-law moved in the house a couple of months ago and brought 2 cats. One cat's real nice and one cat's not. And so every time I entered the room where the cat was in the basement, the cat would like literally attack me, like drop blood on my legs and everything, like bite me, just like tear me apart. So it took a while, but now me and him are friends. So he'll come up and be gentle and everything now, but I still don't trust that bastard.
Well, the best way to get the cat to love you is to absolutely ignore it.
I just give it treats when I enter the room and stuff, and it comes up to me and that's about it. Yeah, I don't really pay much attention besides that. So
Because then their little cat ego kicks in and they go, "No, you better like me, man." But if you chase them around, try and put them in your lap, stuff like that, hang it up.
I remember reading somewhere that with cats, a lot of the safety and affection things has to do with not seeming like a predator or like you're going to attack.
Mhm.
Like you show affection by closing your eyes around the cat, because if you don't have to watch the cat, then you
Yeah, it's a
think the cat
trust
is
thing.
safe.
Yeah, it's like when dogs, when they lie with their back to you, it's not because they're dissing you, it's because they trust you to watch their backs.
Very sweet.
That's why dogs watch you when they go to the bathroom. Because
Is that why?
the reason dogs watch you when they're going to the bathroom is because they're trusting you to cover their back while they take a crap.
No, I just thought they were just trying to be creepy. I didn't realize.
That's what it is. Everyone thinks that, but this is the reason why. I don't know why dogs like watching you go to the bathroom. But
Well,
So
I
the
mean, have you
Bushman
seen
and
him
the
do it? The style, the artistry.
yeah, I guess so. What were you saying about the Bushman there?
the Bushmen in Namibia, they believe that if the people are sitting around a fire, and you're facing the fire, the dogs have to face the fire as well. They find
Okay.
that they see it as you're part of the tribe, so you doing what we're doing. You're not
Oh,
facing
yeah.
the other way.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely pack mentality.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I see yours, Nathan, there is the size of a comic book cover, so I know the dimensions there. What's the size of yours, Casey?
9 by 12.
9 by 12?
Yes, 9 by 12.
And Carl's, is yours 9 by 12 as well?
Correct.
Okay, that's cool.
Thought I'd roll with something I could actually maybe imagine I could complete by the time the evening wears out. So let's see.
It's the
It's
sensible way to do
amazing.
it.
Anybody here got plans for Mother's Day next weekend besides me going to meet Chip Zdarsky, then hustling to work afterwards? No Mom's Day plans?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what the plan is. There's going to be something. We've got plenty of moms in the family.
There you go.
I was tasked with finding a bunch of options for activities, and now I just need to wait and see what happens.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh. That moment when you realize you haven't checked this particular ink to see whether it's waterfast when it dries.
Is this one of those inks that you made?
No.
Oh.
Those I keep in watercolor pens. I'm actually,
Oh.
do I have one right here?
Mm-hmm.
So you mix it up with the binder and then you store it that way. I'm not quite cool enough to make actual ink because that's a whole process.
Well, what? Oh, you made paint colors last time. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Because then all you need is to make your binder and then grind up the pigment into it.
Okay.
So,
I think I know what that meant.
fair enough.
No, I think I know what that meant. When you guys all talk like this, and all I hear is art.
So what I mean is there's different things you can put into the paint to make it have the right consistency and stay put and not go runny and gritty and weird.
Yeah, it's basically my version of developer when I add stuff to hair color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then the difference with paint and hair color, I presume, is that with the paint, you need to grind it on a flat plate for a while, a certain amount of time, so that it makes an emulsion, like making mayonnaise, right? You got to mix it until it froths just the right way to be a stable emulsion.
For some of the stuff, you should do that before you add the developer, but most people, because they're dumb, just don't read and just mix it all together. But yeah, you're supposed to do that beforehand.
Okay.
Get that, like I said, get that air in there first to activate everything, then add your developer.
Once again, it is proven paint is paint is paint.
That's what I was just going to say. It's just going to say no matter where it is, color theory is color theory.
Science.
That's right.
Science, bitch.
Oh, yeah, so that's when...
Science.
Not that I was thinking bitch and it made me think of something, but that's what we were that's what we were talking about earlier is we were all talking about what were our favorite Muppets growing up, watching things like that. And I think almost everyone in the room here was unanimous with the Swedish Chef there.
Oh, who doesn't love the Swedish Chef?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you
I bet you Swedish people don't. I bet you Swedish people probably think that's like super racist and everything. So, but I'm just guessing.
I don't know. Maybe they have a sense of humor.
Swedish people.
Are you Googling it?
Yes, like the Swedish chef. I found an article on Slate. What do Swedes think of the Swedish chef? They think he sounds Norwegian, and they would like people to stop asking.
There we go.
Now you know.
Nathan, can you move your Joker over just a little bit? There you go. Thanks, man.
Right.
No problems. I love it how he's gonna have the rubber chickens there. That's so funny.
I can't think of Death Muppets without being remembering a movie that scarred me. Have you guys seen? Why am I blanking on the name? The filmmaker who made the Lord of the Rings movies.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. One of Peter Jackson's first films was a Muppet parody called Meet the Feebles.
Oh.
I think I've seen
is.
this.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think I've seen the movie, but think I saw a YouTube video like kind of reviewing the movie, so I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen it.
So here's the thing: it's not bad. It is well done in its quality, but you will hate the fact that you have seen it, and you will regret. You'll take turns alternating between being glad you saw it and regretting that you saw it.
Oh, see, that's why I won't watch that movie or Human Centipede, just because I know it'll just it'll just burn my brain. I don't want to watch it. So.
Yeah.
That was that's the feeling I got from the movie Tusk. I was like, what the hell?
And that's another one I haven't seen because I just hear it's so disturbing.
It is. Ugh. It's pretty rough.
Brutal.
As in, what's his name? The Apple Kid?
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Justin Long?
There you go.
Sound right?
That sounds right.
I do believe so.
Weird movie, man. Weird movie.
I watched the D&D movie this week. It wasn't too bad.
Ending too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was charming.
Yeah, that was all right.
Like, it wasn't high art, but it's the Dungeons and Dragons movie, you know? I wasn't going in there expecting King Lear.
Yeah.
No, me either. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was funny.
It felt like watching people playing a game.
That's what I keep hearing.
It felt like it felt like us when we play the Dicey game on Monday nights when it's me and Stefan and some of the guys here. That's when we do that other streaming show. Yeah, it pretty much was like that. It's just a bunch of nonsense, silliness. But there was a lot of cool Easter eggs. If you're a D&D fan from the past, or even just if you were a kid that was roughly our age, you got to see the old cartoon kids in there in the maze and everything. That's pretty funny. So.
Yeah.
I might watch this evening that Renfield, the one with
I've watched that. That's
is it good?
Cool.
Yeah, I watched it because Nicolas Cage's Count Dracula is gonna be pretty awesome.
Just hearing
it. He channels the original,
like Lon Chaney or whatever.
Nosferatu. So well, dude. It was like in my opinion, and don't take this with the biggest pinch of salt, maybe like a cupful, even if you need to. But I really think this was like one of his best performances ever.
Really?
Like he really nailed it. Like he was Dracula. Like and it's funny as well because it's like in this modern time and.
Well, yeah, it's about.
But it's good.
It's like Renfield's trying to leave him because he feels it's like an abusive relationship, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you eventually want to quit too? Like.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so great.
Yeah, so I definitely might watch that afterwards. But I also forgot because I thought it was tomorrow night. There's the wrestling pay-per-view Backlash is on right now, so I might watch that after. But we'll see. I might just go to bed because I'm old and I have sinus problems.
Oh yeah.
That's all right. I'm surprised that we're kind of quiet. Before the show started there, we were all super like rowdy. We're starting to get ourselves kicked off, and now we're talking about going to bed early and sinus issues.
Yeah, we're all cold, you
Now
know.
we're sitting here going, oh man, I gotta focus on making art.
That's right.
Yeah, it's partly that, and also, the awareness of the audience. Like, I know that you guys will laugh when I say a certain kind of joke, but I don't know if everyone watching will be like, that Casey, I like the cut of her jib,
I promise you, no one's saying that. I'm
Well-
sure they're liking you, but I'm sure no one's saying they like the cut of your jib.
What's a jib?
Yeah, exactly.
We're a pretty rude crowd.
Just because there's no like nautical dudes in the chat doesn't mean it makes sense. I don't know.
Oh, is that what it is? Is
Yeah,
that,
is jib a nautical term?
I
Yeah,
thought it was like
the cut
I
of your
thought it was giblet. I thought it was for giblet, and they like they
No,
don't like.
here. I know
yeah.
it's a nautical term. It has to do with something about boats. Let me look it
Yeah,
up.
I've heard that term when it comes to nautical.
I feel like I'm going to learn something.
Okay, so so in the 17th century, the jib sail, the shape of the jib sail varied from country to country. So you could see a ship at a distance and see whether or not that was going to be a friendly ship.
Oh,
Get the
so you
hell
would
out.
like the
So,
shape of that jib? Yeah,
I like the cut of your jib. I can see what
Yeah.
country you're
Oh.
from.
Makes
That's
sense.
interesting.
I also kind of wondered.
Interesting.
I also kind of wondered it when I was a kid if it was like a dirty reference to someone wearing tight pants. But I was a kind of weird kid, so I'm glad you like that, Carl.
Muppet limbs are weird.
Yep.
Because they're alternately like sort of realistic and then spaghetti. So it's like, when
Exactly.
should I make it realistic and when is it noodle time?
Yeah, where's the elbow?
And you gotta think when you're drawing it, it must be weird to draw something with the actual wrong number of fingers on a hand. When you're used to
Yeah.
drawing like humans, right?
Well, Turtles fan art is good practice for that.
Oh, that's true.
I used to say Turtles fan art is really good practice for anatomy because there's so many things wrong with them that to make them look believable, you have to really figure out how things are supposed to go.
Yeah. Has anybody been following the first two issues of the Turtles and Usagi Yojimbo team up so far?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's rehashing a plot we've seen before, but I'm interested to see whether it goes in a different direction.
Yeah, me too. I like the seeing Stan Sakai draw the turtles, so
Yeah.
it's a neat interpretation. And then then it's right into the Turtles versus Street Fighter. So I don't know how that's gonna work. I believe the Turtles can somehow get entered into a tournament, and I'm guessing it's a street fighting tournament.
Wait. So it's street. They're fighting in the street. It's a Street Fighter term, but they're
I don't know. It's the actual Street Fighter characters against
So
Ninja
in Street
Turtles.
Fighter, when they're on the street, what do they do?
I don't know. They throw down. It's like a Michael Jackson video.
I'm trying to be deliberately obtuse.
You're in danger of losing your nerd card, is what you're doing.
That's it.
No, I was trying to be like, okay, so maybe
Hey,
it's
we'll
just
we'll
my
let
kids
we'll
who
let
do
we'll let
this.
Stefan handle the sarcasm here, Miss.
Oh, that's true. You're right, Stefan. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to step on your toes. I sincerely apologize, and I will go
Please
back
keep
to
me
being
on.
He's
super credulous.
he's totally probably machining it away there tonight, packing away books and stuff like that. So everyone, he could have had the night off tonight because I was already scheduled to host for quite a while now. But here he is working.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. He's a dedicated man.
If he takes the night off, he has to face that, you know, there's nobody willing to hang out with him on a Saturday night.
Plus, he can't go too far away because I can not run the show completely free just yet. Once it gets going, for sure. But
Is he really working tonight though, or is he lollygagging?
well, I don't know, man. He's got. I don't know how you could be working when you got cats walking around you and you got that little dog. Because I have cats and dog hair, so I mean, I don't know how that works when they're sitting on your lap or on your shoulders and you're supposed to be packing books.
Does anybody have a line to communicate with Stefan?
Oh yeah, I've been messaging him back and forth here. Yeah.
Okay. Can you ask Stefan whether I should talk about anything that's being planned for in between seasons?
He will probably maybe answer in the comments now, so I'll let you know if he says that.
Oh, I've been mentioned in a comment.
Oh, you're the queen of sarcasm, it said.
Oh.
And he said that too. He said you're allowed it.
Rob said my nerd card is permanent.
And Stefan also says yes to your question there, Casey.
Excellent. Okay, so Stefan and I have been talking about doing something in between tags seasons, because a lot of times people will ask questions about the process during tag streams, and Stefan thought it would be cool if there were streaming sessions specifically about how things are done, right?
Like art lessons almost type
sort
of
of
thing.
Like mini,
Yes,
like little mini
please.
lessons.
That'd be cool.
And you know me, I like to talk. You can't shut me up with a hammer.
But is that something you do already? Like, do you teach art already or anything like that, or have taught it in the past, or?
I'm mostly just a know-it-all. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you know it, I'll move your picture over then.
This way?
Nope, the other way.
Oh, for God's sake!
There you go. You know it better now.
I thought it was on the other side, like because my camera is reversed.
Yeah.
I thought I was scooching it the right way. I'm sorry.
You're good. Okay. That's all right. I just did that to make you feel silly.
Putting my foot straight in my mouth. Like, how am I supposed to draw with my foot up here?
That sounds like an interesting thing. So is that going to be like, I guess, a multiple class thing, right? Because you'll tackle one thing at a show type of thing, or?
Stefan wants it to be like a multiple thing. We're still hashing out what's going to be done and whether this is going to be a limited series or an ongoing series or what. Nice. But I think it's exciting and cool, and I am very happy to be part of it.
That is very cool.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it sounds badass.
I'll be glad to watch.
I love how the Tags channel has like spun out so many different other projects and you know, things too, like the Things Are Getting Dicey stuff. A lot of my Nat Daddy stuff I kind of owe to starting off with the Tags here stuff. You know, meeting all you guys. Like I said to before we came on air tonight, Stefan had kind of mentioned to me something about next year I'll be doing more than guest hosting, which I still don't know what that is yet. So I guess we'll find out more on that. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of neat. We're all broadening our wings, as they say, and kind of all doing it together. So that's kind of cool.
Very, very cool. I'm just glad to be here.
All right. I think that's enough. I can pull off the preliminary lines.
Karl, are you liking how it's turning out so far? Because I think Kermit looks metal and destroyed at the same time.
I have brushes that are fighting me right now and not giving me the line I want.
Okay.
Kind of wrestling.
Okay. That is the most Mike Mignola-esque Kermit. I love it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So
are we allowed to bid?
No, anyone who's on the show is not allowed to bid. That is the rules. But you can you can get a family member to bid for you proxy wise.
No, it's fine. I'll play by the rules.
So Karl,
I'm a good person who is fair.
Karl, are you actually like using like a real paintbrush and dipping in ink and then painting on each time, or is it like one of those ink pens?
No, it's a real brush.
That is amazing that you can make such a perfect line with a brush like that.
When there's after like 30 plus years of inking, 35 years of inking. I found only one brush that gives me what I want. And unfortunately, Vladimir pulled the trigger on Ukraine because the sable in these is Russian Kolinsky sable.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
And when Vlad invaded, I bought $400 worth of these brushes in
Jeez.
anticipation of maybe never being able to get them again.
Yeah, that's smart.
So, but my problem is the quality on the latest hasn't been that good. And it's a wrestling match to get the kind of line work I want. Are you saying Mignola's like really fussy about his stuff?
No, I'm saying you've got a lot of expressiveness in the lines, and the way you're putting down the ink is brave and expressive.
Thanks. It's because I'm fighting it. Come on, man. Just do what I want.
That looks pretty cool, man.
Really anal about how I want my line work to look.
That's fucking so cool.
It amazes me when you guys like I can't, when you guys show me or when I see stuff is finished, I'm like, wow, that's great. But I can't imagine having that in my brain at first and not having it like an actual physical reference and then having to create that. That to me, that amazes me how you guys do that.
I don't know how the process is for you. You other guys up here
Amazes me how they do
doing
that.
your digital, but I have an idea of what I want, and then it just kind of grows.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading how Bernie Wrightson used to claim that he would look at a page, and it was like a projector in his mind was projecting onto the page what he wanted to draw. I'm like, shit, I wish it could be that way.
I wish. Yeah.
I've heard
I'm
that
just
there's
making corrections as I go and hoping I can make it work.
Okay, so aphantasia is the condition where you can't see pictures in your mind. Like you literally, if somebody says, think of an apple, you can't picture an apple. Like
That's a real condition?
That is a real thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The thing is, humans vary in their ability to envision, right? Somebody with very limited sort of visual imagination, phantasia, would be like, think of an apple and they think of like redness and roundness, but it's like vague, like when you're in a dream, right?
Okay.
Somebody else might picture like a cartoon apple or like a wax apple. And when you get to somebody who's either trained their mind or is naturally gifted, they're picturing an apple and they can see the grain of the peel, and they can turn it in their mind and see how it twists and where's
and they're seeing it through like Terminator vision or like Predator vision, where it's like scanning it.
Yeah.
I do this exercise with all my tattoo artists where we sit down every day like for 3 minutes at a time, and you draw the clients normally give us ideas, either an item that exists or something that you've seen in your life but you can't see directly, and then you have to draw that within 3 minutes out of memory, and you do like 3 of these in a row, and it's good exercises to show yourself what you actually do know and what you don't know, and
okay, so
helping them a lot as well.
Give an example of something like that.
So for instance, draw the Eiffel Tower out of your head.
Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I would just.
Everyone's gonna draw that
bit up at the top. And
I would just draw 2 sticks up and a couple platforms.
Yeah,
I'm not an artist.
There's like one thing here. No, and now I want to know if I can do this because I feel like I can't.
This is almost like a Mandela effect type of thing. How does everybody
and I know
visualize?
that it goes like woobly woo here, right? And then this part is all right. Now let's see how bad I did.
I think yours looks okay.
That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, Nathan's doing the same thing.
Okay.
And you're talking about single pieces,
Yep. Google says that I missed a whole bunch of it.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
The way I describe it to them is.
So yeah, that's like the idea is to start doing that and then look at the reference and then do the same exercise 3 minutes again
That's
for
cool.
each drawing, but drawing it with reference, and then you kind of like imprint that into your brain in a
Okay.
way.
Sorry, what were you saying, Carl?
When you,
Yeah.
you know, every comic book storyteller, these guys and
Yeah.
girls, they're all different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have the same sort of thing to work with. Like a writer has the same letters and words to work with. They all have the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes their writing interesting is they take those basic letters, phrases, whatever, and they make their own personal language with it, their own way of expressing.
Yeah.
When you're doing something like visual storytelling, you're creating your visual language. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's kind of
know,
like how people like
And
when
it's
you when
like
you
it's like building a muscle or building endurance. And when I have people ask, how can you draw better? I say, draw a lot.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
draw a lot on top of that.
Yeah.
I listened to an interview on NPR with the guy who was the recording engineer for the only Derek and the Dominoes album. And he played the individual tracks to the song Layla.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And you had Eric Clapton and what's his name? He was killed in a motorcycle accident.
I can't remember.
Clapton was born with talent just oozing out of his toes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, B.B. King was like, he could not believe how good he was, how young. Whereas, who's the other guitarist? He was the one for.
I'm trying to think of it too.
I can't.
What's
Yeah, I'm trying. I
to
can
think of
picture
it
him. I
too.
can't think
Yeah.
of his name either. Yeah.
But he was
Is it
the
Jeff
opposite.
Bird?
He
Jeff Beck?
practically went to the bathroom with his guitar
Yeah.
Was it Jeff
Played it.
Beck?
all day, every day. all
Stevie
the
Ray
time.
Vaughan.
Oh.
And so, that's the
Stevie Ray
example
Vaughan
I
was
can give when I can remember his name. When someone says, I don't know how to draw well, I'm like, nah, you got this.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No.
No.
Because he actually said that he played so much his fingers bled. You know, he was just trying so hard over and over.
Why can't I think of that name?
Is it not? Did he not play with Jeff Beck in that band?
Anyway,
Yeah.
but the guy slept with his guitar,
Wow.
you know? And so when you have somebody that's like, I can't draw that well, then draw a bunch.
Hey,
Absorb from everybody you can.
you'll get
I got-
hockey players and baseball players sleeping with theirs, no bats and sticks and that. So I mean, how is that any different, right? So.
I actually got into a fight with someone at a convention about something similar to this.
Okay.
So some artists are very invested in the idea that what they're doing is special and unique, right? And it is obviously,
Good
but
for
it's
them.
also a process. It's also work. It's also a craft, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it is my hot take, my personal unpopular opinion, that barring a few geniuses like, you know, Clapton, Mozart, somebody who just has it right away, there is no real such thing as talent. There's only the people who stick to it and the people who don't.
Everything like Carl was saying is like a muscle memory. Even hairdressing, music, art, even no charades or games or anything like that.
And it was Dwayne Allman, by the way.
Oh, Dwayne.
Dwayne
Allman.
There you
Allman.
go.
Okay.
From the
Oh,
Allman
from the
Brothers.
Allman Brothers?
Yes.
Wow.
He was, and the individual tracks this guy played, it didn't sound like human beings were doing this with a guitar. It was insane. It sounded like aliens. And
Okay.
both of these dudes were putting out licks you would not believe you could make that kind of sound with the guitar. But it was one just had the talent coming out of him at birth, and the other one worked his ass off to get it. So yeah, either way, how bad do you want it? That's it. You know, when
Yeah.
Stephen King gets approached by people, said, "I wish I could write," and he goes, "Well, then write."
Yeah. That
Okay,
dude
man.
writes like 10,000 pages a day.
Well, not to be. Yeah, he's slowed down since he let go of cocaine.
Stop cocaine, yeah. Same with his son too. His son's Joe Hill.
You have to
Well,
have the
you can
drive
only
to
do
push
that
through
for
the.
so long.
If you have the drive to push through the crappy results when you start something, you're gonna get better.
Yeah, the people like if you can fail at it and still want to try again.
Right.
To me, that's not failing. That's just learning. Failing is when
Right.
you do something and then give up after you've failed at it. Like, if you didn't do something right and then stop doing it, to me, that's failing. If you do something wrong and then keep on going and learn from it, that's not failing. That's learning.
Yeah.
Sort of like when the Russians were in the space race.
It's failing, okay?
It's failing up. It's failing up.
It's failing. I failed.
When
It's over.
Russians were in
I'll
the
never
space
draw again.
race,
The
their
Russians, yeah.
development method was brute force.
Yeah.
Build the rocket, put it up, set it off, it explodes. What made it explode? Build the next rocket. If that explodes, fix that.
Make it
was a
bigger.
brute force method.
Yeah. Hammer nail.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that's how you need to do it. So
It's all quiet now because Karl started talking about Russia again.
I do apologize if I speak over Karl.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Karl, Nathan's not speaking over you. It's just for whatever reason he can't hear you, but everyone else can hear you. So.
Oh wow! So I just look like a crazy Italian, like standing here with my brother.
No, you guys are just You guys are just waving around. It's all good. Everyone's artwork is just amazing. I'm blown away because even though you guys each told me what you were doing before, it's not what I pictured at all. And again, that's just kind of like that exercise you guys were talking about there. It's like someone says one thing and what do you see, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One of the things that is kind of cool too about the human mind, about something like that, is that what they call pareidolia, which is when the human eye looks at something and they automatically have to turn it into something. Like you'll look at a piece of bread and you're like, oh, that's the the Virgin Mary on the bread there. Or, oh, look in the forest. Did you see that? There's that face in the tree there. Like you have to turn something into a recognizable thing.
I do that with patterns in wallpaper.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Look at that. Go shit. There's a face.
Yeah, that's called pareidolia.
Do you want to hear a slightly creepy anecdote?
Okay.
All right. So I get ocular migraines, which for me are not painful, but interfere with my vision. I'll get like swirling color and light, right?
Okay.
And it actually obscures what's would be behind it, right?
Okay.
And when I was a kid, I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to describe it, people. But I had, like, the human mind does pareidolia. Yeah. So I would start to see faces in it. Yeah. And I was convinced that I was haunted.
Oh, wow.
Because every now and then at night, I'd be lying there and suddenly the room would be filled with like swirling color that formed faces and disappeared.
Wow. So did you get tested to see if you were like possessed
sounds like an
or anything?
acid trip.
Yeah, it was not great. I was very relieved when I knew what was going on. And
for whatever reason, pareidolia is like one of the hardest words in the English language to say. I have no idea why, but it's just I have such a hard time saying that word, and I'm very happy I've said it 3 times in a row without screwing up. So yay for me.
I screwed Linda up by pointing out that the back of all cars look like faces.
Oh, I don't want to think about that now.
Look at the back of every car. Look at the taillights. Look at the way the indentation is in the bumper for the all of them. It's all faces looking at you. And she's like, "Damn you!" I'm like, oh, it's cool. So, yeah.
I don't like it when people point out on social media or what used to be just your buddies and stuff like, oh, look, if you take this logo and turn it sideways, it looks like this or something like that, or something creepy like Batman's Batman's kissing your mom's legs or something like that. It's,
What?
there's one that's like that. It looks like Batman's going down on a girl or something. I can't remember what logo it is, but all kinds of weird stuff like that. Because then that's all you see forever and ever and ever. You never see that original logo anymore.
There's one where it's the Chicago
Well,
Bulls
it's like
logo.
Wolverine looking like two Batman kissing.
Oh yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
I wonder how much of that is deliberate and how much of like subliminal advertising, and how much of it is just coincidence.
I think nowadays it's probably both. What were you saying, Carl?
Someone pointed out something about the Chicago Bulls logo.
Yeah, that
It
was
looks
it.
like
Yeah.
a crab doing something. I'm like, oh, shit balls. Yeah, it does.
I also know
mentioned it.
too that if you look at the Chicago White Sox logo, the one that says Sox, if you look, just kind of tweak it just slightly, it's a perfect word for sex. It doesn't even look like socks anymore; it just looks straight up
Nice.
sex. So it's weird.
Wow.
Probably sponsored by Adidas as well.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, kids.
So, okay. Actually, if you want, you guys, we're about an hour or so in. Everybody can take a couple-minute break if they need to refresh drinks or art supplies or drain bladders or anything like that. So.
I think I need to go get another drink.
All right. So, well, I'll put the. I will put. You're good.
Like Mom before the trip, I tinkled before this happened. So
I did too, but that was a long time ago already, and I've had some water and stuff. So, and I'm the host, so I can do this. So, all right, I'm gonna put on the pause button for a few minutes, and we'll see you all in a couple seconds. Jump back in, and as we jump back in, Carl is apparently quitting. So.
Lots happened since you left.
Yeah, what happened, man? I was gone for like 30 seconds.
Well, he just decided that art had no meaning anymore for him. And yeah, it was
the day art
very
died.
sad. He was going to send me that Kermit as a final farewell to art. So
because I
sorry
quit.
for anyone who's going to bid on that.
And
You
then he's
really
gonna
want
start-
that art piece.
He's going to start
No,
working
I
on
just like it.
prompts so he can do AI art from now on.
Oh, you're gonna get booted out. You said the bad word, man.
So we'll grab the non-photo blue
Scary.
pencils, which I can no longer get,
Why is that?
and knock Miss Piggy in.
What?
Well, how come you can't? Why can't you get those pencils anymore? Is it a supply thing, or they don't make them anymore? Are they cancerous or
think
something? Or
This is a 20068 light blue color race.
uh-huh.
And it's great because it doesn't lay the line down too dark, and you could draw and erase and draw and erase and draw and erase forever. And I think number one, I think they've stopped making it. And number two, I think they've changed the formulation in their pencils, and they don't perform the way they used to.
I find that with everything in the whole world in the last 2 years.
Oh, I've been having a hell of a time just getting paper that will do what I want.
Yeah, everything in the whole world has changed formulas. Nothing's the same anymore. Thomas, what about you for your stuff? I know you go through like a lot of different materials and that. Have you find stuff's changed in the last couple of years just because of supply issues and reformulating of stuff? Yeah.
During the pandemic, I had a hell of a time getting resin, and that all comes from China.
Right.
So, yeah, it's expensive and it takes a long time to get here. And if we go to war with them, I'm gonna have to figure something out.
Totally changed the way you work, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to find suppliers that are in the States, and with 3D printing, most of the stuff comes from China. Almost all of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But yeah, during the pandemic, it was brutal trying to get stuff.
Well, what's funny is the drones that the Ukrainians are using to blow up all the Russians in their trenches.
Karl, man,
are
you're gonna get us
manufactured in
kicked
China.
off. I know everything you say is true.
Between Vlad and
What did Karl say?
Ping.
He said that all the drones they use are made in China.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wonder
they're
it's
commercial
probably
drones. They're not military.
I was gonna say it's probably the same drones that the Amazon uses in parts of the states
Yes.
and that.
Yeah, the news bit I saw on it, they showed which page. They showed it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Putin's having a hard time because you're blowing my boys up with this. You're selling these drones, and so what's happening is China's trying to find a way to keep Ukraine from buying them.
Right.
And so the Ukrainians have to do a bit of a roundabout to get those.
See, Karl, you're more than just a pretty face. I know it.
Well, I was watching. I caught a video where they're grilling, a member of the Biden administration because they're like, we want to electrify the entire military in 5 years, and the senator's going, all the batteries come from China.
Yeah.
All of this lithium-ion stuff comes from our number one global competitor.
Yeah,
for our
that's the
military.
same here with
Are you crazy?
in North America, and I know maybe not. It's a little bit easier in North Carolina, but up in Manitoba here in Canada, we get some pretty harsh winters, right? So everyone's like, oh, let's have these electric cars and all these, you can't do that stuff up here. It won't last, and we don't have the grid to plug everything in. So yeah, you're not using gasoline, but then you just don't have the electrical system to support all that stuff either, right?
Well, they're talking to this guy that's this expert, and the guy goes, right now they've managed to get tractor trailers to where a tractor from 1980 made as much pollution as 60 tractors from 2023. They've gotten that good with them. Yeah. And the guys,
and they're probably driven by a drone too. They're not. Nobody's driving them.
And he's asking, all right, so the average cost of a tractor is between $100,000 and $200,000. Yes, sir. How much is an electric one? $450,000. Who's paying for that? The customer. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's not cool.
So, and again, it's all that stuff, all that lithium. The main components for those batteries has come from China.
Yeah.
So much comes from China. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I think if I go back in time, I would slap Richard Nixon right in the head, say, leave those Chinese alone, let them stay right where they are. Don't bring them out into the world. Because he thought he was doing such an awesome thing. No, get away.
We got Danny Harrell in the chat saying they need to do like Back to the Future where everything runs off like banana peels and old Miller Lite
Yeah,
cans,
with Mr. Fusion.
Yeah, the garbage.
I'd be cool with that.
Me too.
Solve a whole bunch of problems at once.
Yeah.
So now
This
we're
is
gonna
the
go
stage
with
where it feels like a coloring book.
It looks like you're having fun.
It is. It is. All right. His pants are kind of purpley.
That's a pretty dead-on looking animal.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do something that looks like something, I'm going to do it just so.
Mm-hmm.
you going to do it right?
I'm going to do it right. Yes.
Okay.
Professionals have standards.
Yeah. See, I gotta. While I have this pretty elaborate camera set up, the computer that's streaming is actually behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I do these things, and I never get to see what people are drawing because the screen's behind me. It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Why don't you just turn your desk chair around?
Moving this desk,
Oh, you can't just go sit on the other side of it.
I still have to reconfigure everything. Plus, it's
Okay.
the setup with my computer that I use with a Cintiq tablet. It eats up the entire desktop,
Oh.
so I can't turn around and draw. But what I have done is there's a backup machine that I've been working on for a while, and it is now ready. Software is loaded. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it for next tags, but for next season of tags, yeah, it's going to be right by my desk over here.
Just
And,
put a mirror next to you and just use it to look over your shoulder, like
that'll mess with my head.
Old gunslinger style.
I'm a simple creature, and looking at that stuff in a mirror is gonna, like make smoke come out of my ears.
That's funny.
Because I ain't that smart.
So Thomas, once you're done, like your digital modeling here, how long does it take for the machine to fully, print it out or to produce it?
Something 6 inches tall, depending on how I angle it in there, could take probably about 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3D printing is a patient man's game.
So it's much like how they show CSI where you get a blood test and they do the DNA instantly. It's not like that where you see in the show where you hit a button and it's like just going like this.
Yeah, there is no instant 3D printing, I can tell you that.
Oh, okay.
It's a slow process.
Oh, I can't believe Hollywood lied to us.
Well,
imagine that.
Chinese. Build them, make them so they go faster.
Lies.
It's like when
I mean, that's what they said about cars too.
Whenever they're analyzing a photo on CSI and they're like enhance, and they go from this blurry ass cloud to a crystal clear image.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm going to step away just a second. I will be right back.
Sure thing.
Watch your language.
You do your math.
Oh, do I have to?
Make sure your mic's off. Yeah.
Calling us names.
Right now, the weather.
Handle all these here darks in the background.
Right now in Tucson, the weather doesn't know what it's going to do. So the temperature changes quite a bit during the course of the day. And that makes 3D printing really hard too, because it changes the viscosity of the resin that's in my vat. And
really?
Yeah. And that can cause print failures.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I had no idea. Now, when you're printing out something, do you have like just a big, like, is it like for simplicity's sake, like a normal computer printer where the ink's just right there and you print it out, or do you have to mix up a certain amount batch for that one particular project?
I usually don't have to mix resin unless I'm mixing two different kinds to make it more durable.
Uh-huh.
The model. Usually, I can just pour the resin right into the vat in the printer and then stir it up a little bit, and then just start the job that I want to print.
So you just use for whatever is needed at that time. It doesn't just sit there like in a big vat and suck it out. Okay.
Well, it in a way it does. I have to change it every once in a while, and just get some fresh resin in there and clean out the vat after a week or so. But normally I'll leave resin in the vat all the time and just pour a little more in when I'm going to do a bigger print job, and then just let it go do its thing.
Okay, so it's always pretty much the same formula unless you're, like you said, changing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I only print with gray resin. Some people like to get crazy and, print out in different kinds of resin. I end up painting everything anyway, so.
Right.
Yeah, I just use gray.
I have a question on the 3D printing.
Yeah.
Do you have to make a point of running it like a scheduled run on a regular basis? How is that process? Is the printing material a solid and then it's heated and then laid down, or is it a liquid? How does that work?
I have two different kinds of printers. One's a resin printer and the other one's an FDM printer, which is the FDM prints on spools of plastic ribbon filament.
All right.
And that ribbon goes through an extruding nozzle that gets about 200 degrees. So it melts the ribbon, and it just, the robotic arm part of it will draw out the object, build it up layer by layer. The other kind, the resin printer, has a build plate that moves up and down, and you actually build the object upside down. By the plate goes down into the resin, and the plate presses against an LCD screen that flashes an image of each layer. And when that UV light comes on, it burns the layer of resin onto the build plate, and then the build plate moves up a little bit. The process happens again. It'll flash the next layer on there, and you can see a plastic model coming up out of the goo. It's really cool.
That's crazy. So what will be the cost on this, on your piece there, Thomas?
That I don't know. It depends on how complex I get with it and how many hours it takes me to paint it and stuff like that.
And what about everybody else? I'm getting some questions on the chats here. What will be the starting bids on everybody's pieces?
I don't know if we get to decide.
I think it's $50 usually, right, for the starting pieces. Yeah.
I feel like that's what Stefan usually puts down.
That's what I think too.
If we're choosing, I'm gonna go with $800.
yeah.
I am going to go with $1
million. Yeah, I think it's always going to be 50 starting. The big question is, what does it end at? So that's the important question. Because all the money does go to you fine artists, which is one of the reasons I like doing this show too. So
we thank you for it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This animal is going to help my son get to summer camp this year for the first time.
Nice. Like a regular camp, or something specific, like a band camp or space camp, or
like an ordinary summer camp.
Good. Yes, outdoorsy.
My daughter's gone a couple of years, and Coleman's finally old enough, and it's a great thing to do, and we love to do it. But you look at the bill, and your guts tighten up.
Gone all summer, or a week or two, or
just a week, maybe a long weekend.
Okay.
But he'll get to have the whole, cabins and marshmallows and camp counselors telling stories that are way too scary for their age. Come home with things made out of pine cones, kind of situation.
Pee in the bush, man. That was
Ready to turn the lights out.
Yeah, spiders in your sleeping bag.
We're lucky though. Like people talk a lot of crap about Wisconsin, but there's almost nothing poisonous here. The bad bugs cannot survive the winter.
Well, I'd say
Even the-
Wisconsin's almost the same as Manitoba, and we got poisonous. Well, we don't have poisonous bugs here, but you got poisonous like plants, like poison ivy and stuff like that. And
Oh yeah, yeah. You can get rashes from things, but I don't have to be
Sure.
afraid of any spiders I see. Like worst
Oh,
case
no.
scenario, they're going to be aggressive. They're not going to kill. Like it's
Yeah.
like the opposite of Australia, right? Where you
Yeah.
see a spider in Australia.
Well,
and
everything in
it's biting your
Australia is
will.
designed to
you
kill
know?
you. I think most Australians will even tell you that. It's just like English food is all made on a dare.
Here in Tucson, Arizona, everything wants you dead too.
Yeah.
That's true too.
Even the plants. Yeah. There's scorpions all over the place.
Well, yeah, 'cause
rattlesnakes.
You guys have
Well,
one
isn't Arizona one of the places
consistent.
that's still? Isn't one of Arizona one of those places that still has living reservoirs of the Black Plague?
Geez, I didn't know about that.
No,
That's
me
some-
either.
Something else to worry about.
You're not
Wow.
going to sleep tonight, ha
Jeez.
Why would you have that?
I mean, these days it's not so alarming. We have antibiotics in hospitals and such, but
Well, I guess that's what's nice in Canada about having winter is it does kill off some of that stuff half the time
Right,
and
right.
doesn't let it get big or strong or.
When I lived in Boston, you just had to worry about the people.
Yeah. Most of the time here too, actually.
All right. So, get this
Nathan,
shotgun drawn.
when you go to when you're living in South Africa there, do you find the people there much different than living in the States? Like just like the way they act and politeness and stuff, or no?
I would say, sure, it's very similar but different.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I find that Americans are very what's the right word?
Yeah, what is it?
I can think of a few.
Boisterous, arrogant.
Well, look, that I
Entitled.
suppose in different parts and in different areas where you'll get all of that in any area of or any place in the world, you'll find arrogance and you'll find people that are just being stupid just for being stupid.
Yeah.
But I found most of them very helpful and very kind.
Yeah.
Like wanting to help. And that's been refreshing. Where here in South Africa, everyone's like, it's almost like a musketeers reverse. Everyone just for themselves. Like, like people won't just open their doors to you in South Africa. Where I found in America, it's way more welcoming. That was the word I was looking for.
Well, that's good. That's a better reputation to have than.
Right.
Wait till you come to Canada then.
I was
Sorry, eh?
City about it. And at the times we went, we were surprised at how helpful New Yorkers actually were.
So far, nothing I can
know,
say bad about any of the
and-
experiences. Everything has been amazing.
That's good.
Oh,
There was this perception that New Yorkers were unfriendly, and that wasn't true. If you
Work in a great
walked up
studio
to any
with
New
great
Yorker on the
artists.
street,
1 sec, Nathan. Yeah.
okay,
No, I told Nathan 1 sec. You can keep going, Carl. Yeah. I want to hear how you prove to me that New Yorkers are not mean.
yeah,
no,
I feel like
they aren't mean. They're busy.
Oh, okay.
They're in the middle of getting somewhere. I never had a problem on the street in New York. I won't go there now. But like 10 years ago, you'd walk up to anybody and say, I can't find this. Where is it? And they'll go 2 blocks that way, 1 block this way, turn right. And then they're out of your face because
Right.
they're busy. Everybody in New York tends to walk where they're going.
Efficient, yeah.
Whereas you would think that, say, Southerners are friendly. Southerners aren't friendly. They're polite. And there's a big difference
yeah, nice versus
between
kind.
friendly and polite.
I guess that's true, yeah.
You know, it's because the South runs on protocol.
Yeah, yeah.
So, if a true Southerner walks up and says, "Hello, I'm so and so. How are you?" If you do not respond, "Well, I am so and so, and how are you today?" the Southerner walks away thinking you're the biggest asshole they met that day.
Right, yeah, so they have this whole kind of protocol that they follow, or no, that's been kind of bred into them.
So it's protocol.
Hmm.
So.
Did you grow up in the South, Karl? Like, are you from North
No,
Carolina?
I was a military kid.
Oh, okay.
So I've ended up in the South.
Okay. Were you in Europe and stuff too, like Germany and that with your?
No.
No.
I was jealous. I had friends that would go places like Australia.
Yeah.
But I was when I was a kid, we were stationed in Oahu, on Hawaii, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
And California, Utah. My dad managed to keep us from moving around a whole lot. He managed to keep us in Hawaii for 5 years, which is pretty uncommon. So, it was funny when I moved back, I ended up in Utah and I had all these kids in Utah trying to impress me. And I'm like, what? No.
How do you impress someone in Utah?
Well, at the time, my dad retired when we were in Utah.
Yeah.
Utah was 75% Mormon.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty rigid there.
It's not like that now, but it was. So, yeah, right around in your late teens, you get all these older women to keep walking up while you're working at the store, asking, "When you going on your mission?" Well, I'm not.
Your walkabout, yeah. Nathan, you're. I'm glad that you did manage to put the Swedish chef in the background there somehow. That's awesome.
Okay. Can I see? Like, can you
Yeah,
put
you
it
can
on the
peek.
big screen?
It's on the big screen.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Very nice. Who's playing something in the background? Gonna get us kicked off?
Nope. I think I accidentally looped I didn't mean to have the sound on. I went to tags on my phone to see the big screen.
Oh.
And then I didn't have it on mute. So I was listening to our little conversation.
I've done that before too.
I did not realize that it was a past conversation at first because it was your voice.
That's what I thought
were
too. I'm like,
already
that was me, but it wasn't me talking at that time. So
It was the dulcet sounds of his voice.
Correct.
I'm assuming that's something nice.
The dulcet tones of your voice.
Meaning sweet and soothing.
Oh.
Aw, see? I didn't know that. I thought I was being an asshole. Thank you for saving me.
You were being sarcastic inadvertently.
Yes. Shh. He feels good about himself right now. Don't screw that up.
Okay, I'm sorry. Shh.
There we go.
Actually, what I just feel good when I'm hosting the show because I get to watch you guys do this and I get to basically ask whatever pops into my head as well too. So it's pretty neat. I'm watching Tomas carve these feet right now, and it's making me think of Geppetto and Pinocchio thing going on.
Geez, if any of my stuff comes to life, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. That'd be a wicked horror movie nowadays.
Yeah,
Puppet Master would be like 3D Baker.
Sideshows.
Yeah.
I'm always making these Chet models from Weird Science. I don't need that thing bouncing around my house.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie, Weird Science.
It's all right.
Someone's sideshow collection coming alive.
Exactly.
Those sideshow statues are ridiculously expensive. They're amazing.
Finally getting the lines I want. Maybe it's just because I needed to be warmed up.
Was that all it is, or did the brush have to be warmed up a little? It wasn't saturated.
Now here's a question. Do any of you guys do warm-up exercises when you know you're going to be working a little while?
I just start inking and until I stop screwing up, and then it
Sometimes.
starts looking good. I make sure I work on shit that's not important.
Sometimes, like if I'm tattooing
Yeah.
a big piece in the day. Sorry. Am I?
Oh, you're good. Go for it. Yeah, he
No,
answered.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, it's your turn. Your turn.
If I'm doing a big piece with a tattoo, I enjoy doing the stencil by hand because then you're kind of like getting into that tattoo already,
Uh-huh.
like doing it and then sticking on the stencil and then going for it. It kind of helps just warm up the wrists.
Okay. Like a piano player. Do you find like when you're using your tattoo gun or your needle, what do you call it? Needle or a gun? Your machine? Okay,
A
sorry.
machine.
When
Yeah.
you're using your machine, are you holding that much differently than you are like your brush in that, or is it?
I can actually show you guys. I'll bring one. I'm in my
Okay.
studio at the
Ooh.
moment.
Okay, I'll pop that up on the screen here.
Let me just fetch
Oh,
it.
I'm getting all kinds of cool behind the scenes stuff for you guys tonight.
Let's grab a needle so you can see what it will kind of.
Oh, that'd be a hell of a tags. Somebody
tattoo?
doing tattoo live.
Yeah,
Like
the
I'm
comic theme.
planning on doing one. I have spoken to
Oh, see, everyone's
quickly
got
about it,
projects going.
so-
Everyone's got
but
projects.
that's nothing we've really spoken about in detail. But I'd love to do a
Mhm.
Marvel. So this will be tattoo machine. Well, my tattoo machine,
Mm.
and then when it runs, see if we can. Let me just check down the screen how close I'm getting.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's a
kinda
pretty
blurry.
good size one. Does that have the power supply built into it?
Yeah, so it's got like the battery that let me just put it off. You can detach that.
Wow, that's cool. It's cordless. I've never seen one of those before. Cordless.
No, me neither.
That's your battery pack.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
How long does that battery pack last you?
I've had it last me about 11 hours once.
Like 11
Wow.
hours continuously?
Yeah, well, with breaks in between, but
Oh, yeah,
11
that's what I
hours
mean.
of
Yeah.
running time. Yeah.
Wow, that's
That is
crazy.
longer than I would have guessed.
So you would hold it like this, and if I had to do that black, for instance, it would
Yeah.
be like a brush stroke where you would kind of do that type of.
Very cool.
Wow, that is neat. I had no idea that they were cordless nowadays.
Yeah, no, that's a game changer. And obviously it'll be wrapped and covered in plastic covering and a grip on, and so this is just like a spare needle just to
Yeah.
check it out.
We're having a
Yeah,
few people
that's fun.
comment on in the chat here, Nathan, saying that nobody has ever seen that type of tattoo or that type of tattoo machine. Everyone's just had the old-fashioned way done. So that's pretty
Damn.
neat.
Yeah, that's very cool. It is newer technology, but it's been out for about, I mean, my first cordless machine I've had for about 5 years now.
Wow.
I enjoy it. It's just it's freeing, not having a cable dragging.
Well, no, I can relate because I have cordless clippers. You know, same thing too.
Yes.
You know, same
Yeah.
thing. You know, when you don't have to worry about the cord, but
Exactly. And it makes a big difference. It gives you a lot more freedom to get into angles and corners where
it really
I suppose
does.
for you styling, and getting around someone's ear, for instance, I know that's sometimes can be a problem with that cable dragging and around everything.
Yeah, when you're thinking of tight spaces, that's the first thing I was thinking, the ear.
Yeah. My
I
mom
hear
always struggled with my fucking ears, though. Always.
That's pretty cool.
We had a rule in school that they said your hair is not allowed to touch your ears. You had to kind of always keep it trimmed around. And my mom always said, like, if they complain, just tell them your fucking hair grows onto your ears.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do have people like that the hair grows right to their ear. Right.
Yeah, no, it's like straight onto the edge. Like, I can't get it clean there. You want me to shave the side of my head? It's like,
yeah, basically.
Shan't do it.
Everyone's enjoying their progress so far, or at least happy with it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I know. No artist is happy while they're working. I can understand that.
I'm never a fan of what my stuff looks like at this stage.
Yeah.
For you,
Like
I would think it would be even tougher because you have to like not only do it digitally like this, but then you have to think, what will that look like actually physical as well?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning involved because if I'm going to make this hollow, if it's over a certain size, you want to hollow it out, or it will peel away from the dough plate when it's getting printed. So, yeah, and you have to think will it be able to stand, with the center of gravity.
Yeah, you got to think about physics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this? Where did you what were you doing before this? Were you a computer animator before you started doing this stuff, or were you a clay animator and got into this? Like, what's your story, Thomas?
I was always I drew constantly, and then I got into sculpting in the 90's, and once I started doing that, it really grabbed me, and I just went sculpting crazy, with Sculpey and stuff like that. And then when COVID hit, that's when I started doing the digital stuff, because it was getting hard to get the Sculpey, the clay, and and I saw a business opportunity there. If I can 3D print something that I sculpted over and over, I can sell a bunch of them rather than sculpt one thing and sell it like I was doing.
Is it easier once you have it done and gets printed one time and you like it? Is it easier to mass produce it, or is it still go through the whole same process again? Like, besides, the printing part, not obviously you remodeling it, but it takes every time you do one afterwards, you'll take the same 6 hours, or after the first one, it gets initially faster?
It takes 6 hours every time.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. Some things I can print more than one of at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Is that something you can set and go to bed and trust it?
Yeah, I can now. But when I first started, no, forget it. As soon as I turned my back, there was a problem happening. But now I kind of know what I'm doing, sort of, a little bit. Okay. So, I can let it run overnight, and, in the morning I'll have a model hanging out for me to scrub down with alcohol.
Oh, wow.
That's the part I hate the most, is you have to give the parts an alcohol bath with isopropyl alcohol, and it stinks to high heaven.
Now, why is that? Just to wipe off all the residue?
Yeah, it breaks down the liquid resin.
That's what I figured, yeah.
So you hit it with the alcohol, and then hit it with a toothbrush, and clean up the model, and then run some water over it, and then hit it with a primer, and then painter.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a process.
Are you working on the sword part right now? Is that what or just the hand still?
No, right now I'm doing the hand.
Okay.
And, I'm going to bust out the CAD program and do the sword. I've only been using this CAD program I'll show you. I've only made 2 models. I just made this guy.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Silent Running. It's from like the early 70s.
Yeah.
And there were these 3 little robots that ran around on the ship with Bruce Dern. And yeah, that's them. Thank you. So, excuse me. This I made in the CAD program, where it's more like, I'll show you. It's a different process than sculpting, but it's kind of similar.
Are you a big Lego fan?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I kind of figured you'd have to be.
Yeah, I made a Lego Millennium Falcon not too long ago, about a year ago.
Like out of regular parts or out of that kit part thing?
The kit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not that advanced.
I was gonna say, if you just made it out of regular ones, that's pretty cool.
No, I don't even know how those guys design those things.
No, me either.
Which one did you build?
Not the super expensive one. The $150 Millennium Falcon.
Okay, I built the big one. I've built the big Starship. I've built the big X-Wing. I've built the big TIE Fighter.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like it. When I get back, I'm building the big Batmobile.
Oh, wow. I was at a friend's place the other day, earlier this week, and it wasn't the Lego version, but he's got that big giant Unicron.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and he's never transformed it. It takes half an hour to transform it from the planet form to the robot form.
I'll see if I can go downstairs and show you guys my cave here in the studio.
Yeah, go for it,
Awesome.
man.
At the end, I'll give you guys a quick walkthrough and see if we can stay connected. I think with the stream it might.
I do.
But,
Rob Denner's asking about Lego Band. I do have Lego Band. Is my son on the feed here? It's so if he's not on the feed, that's weird because the last couple of weeks, my son and his girlfriend they've been rocking out to these old Rock Band and Guitar Hero games. So that is a very weird coincidence that Rob has mentioned Lego Rock Band in there because I was doing that the other night and I'm not a great singer, but I'm definitely not a bad singer.
Yeah, you're right. Either the brush is warming up or I finally am.
Just stage fright. I know how I intimidate you.
Well, there's that. Then there's going to be a whole bunch of hitting this with white later.
Speaking of later, what's everybody else got going on for the rest of the weekend?
work.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
work for
Me
me.
too, yeah. I'll be working tomorrow as well.
It'll be kind of a relief, though. I've been stuck in ordinary life mode, and I've been frustrated about my ability to sit down and get art stuff done. So
When you
I'm
say,
really
when you say
actually-
ordinary life, is that like family life and stuff like that? You mean like
the family and the day
life?
job.
Yeah, yeah.
All of my art happens in the cracks and nooks and crannies of the rest of my life
Mhm.
because I gotta work the 9 to 5 because I carry the health insurance for the household.
Yeah.
And so that takes a chunk, and then I want to actually be a decent parent, so that takes a chunk. I mean,
Sure.
I could be a jerk. That would save me some time for art, but so far I haven't chosen that path.
Yet. The dark side.
Or you could do what I do and just give up sleeping.
Yeah,
that's
see, that's my
that's
issue.
what I used to do,
I
but
don't
apparently
sleep.
I'm old now because if I try to stay up, my body just hits me with a hammer the next day. Just I am done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
Actually,
can't do that kind of shit anymore either.
yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. Like I don't know why I feel like it's a moral failing that I can't stay up until 2 a.m. But
I look at it a different
Well, it
way.
is. Sorry.
It's okay. I look at it a different way because I'll be tired and fall asleep early, but then at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm up and ready to go again, like a brand new day. That's my issue. But I'm weird, so. What were you gonna say, Carl?
I was just passing judgment on her and saying,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it is a moral failing that you can't stay up till 2 anymore. What's wrong with you?
well, I mean, a lot of things are wrong with me.
Like, we need to specify how much time we have to.
A lot of things wrong with a lot of us.
That's
Yeah.
what makes artists. Artists are not perfect people.
What?
Artists are not perfect people.
Don't
Nobody's
say
perfect
that.
people.
Shut up. Yeah, I remember when I could work 36 hours straight and 8 hours of sleep. Clean that right up. Man, not anymore.
Coffee. That sounds like a coffee drinker.
Can't do
No,
coffee.
see,
Makes
well-
me jittery.
Oh yeah, yeah. Same for me a little bit too. Once they drink too much.
Coffee can only take away the sleepy. It can't add the competence back, though, and that's the problem. It's-
Yeah, true.
That's why Stephen King went with cocaine and not caffeine.
Yeah. When you are shaky and that, no one's no really too happy when you got no razors and scissors around their ears and eyes and that. So.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I guess for typing it works.
I can't type. I'm a chicken typer. What like pecking like a rooster?
He probably is too, but on cocaine, anyone's fast.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all about the muscle memory, not necessarily which fingers you're using.
True. Like one of those.
Remy, this is your opportunity for That's What She Said. Please feel free to type it in the chat.
You know what? We've had people saying that in the chat already. Like that's what she said, or
Excellent.
not that wasn't what I expected or looking
Phrasing.
like. Or something.
Yeah.
We are being very, very entertaining.
Oh, good. All of those years in clown college weren't wasted.
Did you get your red nose?
I did, but that was after a fight, so
Good.
hardly the.
At least you didn't drop out.
That's true. Clown college dropout has got to be like one of the saddest
Yeah, that
life
sounds sorry.
experiences.
It's kind of disappointing, yeah.
Like, because having the drive and the willingness to go to clown college in the face of everybody who's going to think about, you went to clown college, right? Like that's got to be some dedication. That's like a calling. And then to drop out of clown college, oh boy.
How would
Sad.
What's worse is what if you
Heartbreaking.
failed it? What if you failed clown college?
Damn, what if you failed clown? Fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, that Kermit.
I mean-
that's so great.
I mean-
Failing clown college. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of fell. Yeah. I feel like failing
Sorry.
clown college is going to be more likely depending on which kind of college. Like your Cirque du Soleil clowns, that's
That's different.
that's an advanced program.
I wouldn't call them clowns.
It's like a doctorate.
Yeah.
Yeah, advanced.
Yeah, I've seen those
PhD
dudes.
in
They're scary.
clowning.
You've seen a few of their shows in person? I've never seen a show. Like I've seen the shows on.
I saw Cirque Dreams,
Mhm.
which was an offshoot. Yeah, they aren't human beings. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
No
I will
personal life
say-
has that kind of balance.
Amazing athletes.
Yeah. I will say, when I was a kid, my Aunt Susan took me to see Cirque du Soleil once, and they are the only actually funny clowns I've ever seen. Like, there's cheerful clowns, like of the Barnum
Yeah.
and Bailey type, and there's scary clowns of the Barnum and Bailey type. But you don't look
Yeah.
like you don't look at Bozo the Clown and actually bust a gut.
What about Ronald
Whereas-
McDonald?
Oh God, Ronald McDonald's a monster. He's a living embodiment of.
He's not allowed to be
Yeah.
around anymore, that's for sure. Because when people a couple years ago had the whole killer clowns all over the thing, that basically killed off Ronald McDonald.
Is that what happened to him?
Yeah, they haven't had him in advertising since because of that whole killer clown craze.
I was wondering why they got
That
rid
was
of him.
part of it.
Yeah.
But then also there was a lot of comparison. So the It movies came back again,
Yeah, same thing. Yeah,
and Tim Curry's It, the coloration was based on Ronald McDonald.
yeah,
So there was a lot of people passing around a side by side of Ronald McDonald and Pennywise.
yeah, same thing.
So
All being compared to being like scary in that. So. Crazy, I know. I can think of Grimace being a lot more scarier than Ronald McDonald.
pop quiz. What was Grimace? What was Grimace?
I don't know. I think he looks like a butt plug, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't. So
Yeah, pretty sure he wasn't.
yeah. But he did like shakes a lot, so maybe he was a butt plug. So
Another pop quiz. Do you know what
Yeah.
clowns are originally based on?
no, what is that, Carl? Tell us.
What you would call homeless people now?
Okay,
Or
hobos.
Really?
vagrant-
Oh, hobos? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, shoes that don't
I
fit.
think that was like a
comically
particular
oversized.
style of clown, though.
Yeah. The red noses, because typically people who
Gin
were in that
blossoms.
situation were
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Yeah.
So
That's what I
Yeah.
figured that the red noses was.
All right. This water needs to dry, so we get to spend a little bit of time with my noodles.
Awesome. What is that again?
Welcome to Tags. It's not an art show anymore. It's a mukbang.
Oh, noodles! I thought you were pulling out some kind of like you had that
Some clever
glow in the dark paint before. I've been trying to eat quietly on the side here because I forgot to grab milk, some peanut butter Captain Crunch, and that is not something you can eat quietly. So
Then chew with gusto.
I'm sucking on it softly because I'm sure if I chew on it, you guys will hear it in the mic. It'll be like an old Doritos ad or something.
Crunchy.
Actually, I need to dart away for just a moment. Get a glass of water. Be right back.
Go for it.
Taking the opportunity to read you guys in the chat.
Yeah, we got quite a few people
Delightful
tonight.
weirdos.
Oh, Thomas just threw that head on there and it spooked me.
Ah!
It's amazing how much, like, just by taking shapes and adding a little here and taking a little bit away here, that it turns it into like a real character. You know, that's all. Shape, especially faces are. It's just different geometric shapes, right? So.
I have a hard time making Muppets. It's their physical form is so different than a person or a creature. It's really hard to nail down the proportions and everything for me.
You're not the first artist to say that to me.
No?
No, I've heard other people, part of me, say that too. Or with just like weird cartoon or like really, really cartoony type of characters, because again, it's like, how do you draw something if it has no kind of form of anatomy at all, right?
Right.
I think it's because the more you simplify a shape or an image, the easier the more easily you see when the proportions aren't right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, your brains are smart even when even just like subconsciously how it sees and does all that stuff, right? So.
All right.
Well, I'm constantly thinking about, what the skeleton is like underneath the part that I'm making, the fat and the muscle, but that all goes out the window.
Yeah, on a Muppet, yeah. It's the same thing. I think it was someone said the same thing to me before about Looney Tunes characters.
Yep.
Same thing too. Like they have a little bit of base on most of them have some kind of basis on animal bodies, but not much.
Right.
Cleaning out the old wells on my watercolor. I have this really bad habit of saying, "Oh, I'm totally going to use that shade again," and not cleaning out the wells. No, because it's always a great color. It's always a color I'm totally going to use again. I never.
Of course.
Use it again. I never.
Especially in the next painting, because I loved it.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh, I just realized, Casey, your border there is some of your fancy tape. All your your different theme tape on your borders there.
Oh yeah, no, my Midwest middle-aged scrapbooking mom tape is fantastic for watercolor. No, seriously, that's what it's marketed at. It's marketed at people who have live, laugh, love on their walls 3 times, but it's very, very good because it's low adhesive and it's waxed, right? So it's really, really good on paintings. And I just have to suffer through like glurgy little sentiments on the side, like family is everything. And I'm like, yes, it is. Can you stop, Joan? Like
Joan.
The watercolors that you're using there, just regular normal art store watercolors or nothing special?
Mostly I use M. Graham. I have 1 or 2 Daniel Smith in here just because Daniel Smith is snooty as hell, the pretentious painter's watercolors. But Daniel Smith is also really good for very specific kinds of colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I like his stuff for shadows.
Okay.
Like, because there'll be like strange reddish purples and greens that you couldn't mix. And it's only one pigment, so you don't have to worry about it mixing strangely with other colors because you can track it better. So
Okay.
I guess sometimes it's worth the money, but only sometimes.
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 All the time.
Yeah. When I
I'm a
started
sucker
trying
for
to mix my own watercolors out of pigments I was given, I tried to copy M. Graham's binder. I don't think I did very well, but you know, it wasn't bad. It was bad.
Yeah,
But it's usable. It's
yeah.
usable.
It
Yeah.
didn't sound too convincing.
Yeah. It's usable, you know. So I'm using those paints for practice now.
Right. On your piece there, Nathan, are you going to do some painting as well afterwards, or are you sticking all with markers tonight? Painting as well, yeah?
No, I'll paint some in. Keep
Okay.
to the original color.
Mhm.
Work. I think
It's looking good.
I like it. It's different.
So, Thomas, if when you do something like you're doing tonight, and I'm
Mhm.
assuming you put it up all over Instagram, will you ever get someone like in this case, have you ever had someone like say like Uma Thurman reach out and say that's a cool piece, or like someone from the Muppets say, oh, that's a cool piece, or anything like that, or not really?
Yeah, two things I can think of off the top of my head is
Ooh.
one of them that I thought was really cool was I did a Baron Aphanas sculpture from What We Do in the Shadows,
Ooh.
Okay.
Doug Jones,
Mhm.
and I put that up on Instagram, and Doug Jones liked it. He said
Oh, wow.
he couldn't wait to see the
Nice.
rest of it.
Oh,
And
that's wonderful.
I totally idolized that dude, so I was really psyched.
That's cool.
And another really cool one was Peter Chung liked my Eon Flux model that I made.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, and that blew me away because he really doesn't reach out or talk to anybody. He's kind of an elusive dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't heard anyone mention him
And
ever.
it was so weird. I didn't even really think it was him. I had to
Yeah.
look it up, and I was like, yeah, that's really his account. So, yeah, that caught me off guard, but that was pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
I had a good
Very
one, but I
cool.
feel like I can't brag about it until I actually finish the painting.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll hold you to that.
Okay.
I'm going to lie awake at night for the following week, hoping James Cameron sees this and offers me $1 million for it.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
I know when in October on Halloween weekend and for Winnipeg Comic Con, Arthur Sundom was there. He always does those amazing zombies things and that. And he said he has that one that he did of Clint Eastwood, like the good, bad, and the ugly pose there, but that's the zombie pose of that. And Clint Eastwood bought that and hung it up in his house.
No way.
The
Oh my
original.
God.
Yeah. He was telling me that story, so that's pretty cool.
When I lived out in Utah, I was taking painting classes from a woman named Lucille Stock, and she did basically a kind of Bob Ross sort of Bob Ross paintings.
Yeah.
Red and wet. And she found out later she'd put one of her paintings that turned out really nicely into a show. And she found out later that Vincent Price had come to the show and really loved it and wanted to buy it, but she had neglected to put a price tag on it.
No.
Wow.
And she was a gigantic Vincent Price fan. She thought he was the most lovely man she'd ever seen. And It just killed her because she
I
should have
bet.
gave it to him. Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah, that hurts to hear.
Yeah.
Well, at least she knows her idol liked her work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
The one little silver lining.
So Thomas, when you're working on one program, like right now you're working in one program, and then you
Yep.
said you're gonna use the CAD program for the sword and that. So do you take one program, make that, and then import it into the program, or can you work on two programs at once, like interchangeably like that?
I'm going to work in the other program by itself and export the model out. When I make the sword, I'm going to actually pop that open in a few minutes here as soon as I finish with these pants.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll build the sword in the other program and export the model out and then import it in here,
Okay.
where she's going to get posed with it and all of that.
Okay. So and you're saying you're using that program, that CAD one, that's something new you've been doing lately. Before that, we're using just the one you're using now, existing program, and just you doing it in that way, and this is just another way of adding on to it that you prefer, or would you still do it the other way?
Doing hard edge modeling in here is really hard. You can do it. The tools just aren't great. They're not meant
Okay.
for that.
Okay.
They're meant for more squishy objects and things.
Okay. Okay.
So I was using another program, a web-based CAD program called Tinkercad. It's really simple to use. Not as advanced as the program I'll show you in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But it was getting the job done. It was good for making, hard objects, like if I wanted to make dice or something like that.
And is that all stuff that like programs and software and apps that you've had to buy and like upgrade, or is that stuff that people can just start off like soft versions and then have to get to like advanced versions eventually? Or like if someone's just looking to get into it or explore it or fool around, is there like light versions of this stuff, or you have to buy into it no matter what?
This is a pretty expensive program, ZBrush. You can't really use any free ones. Well, there's a stripped down version of it.
Okay.
I don't know what it can and can't do, but if somebody wanted to get into digital sculpting, Blender is free, and you can do pretty much most of the things that you can do in here.
Okay.
I always had a difficult time using it. It was counterintuitive to the way I work, so Blender wasn't happening for me. But people swear by it. It's real popular.
And that's Blender with an E?
Blender, like a mixer.
Oh yeah, okay, Blender. Okay, I was just checking if it was that, not blunder like a mistake.
No, it's that damn accent again.
I was just double checking. I wasn't pointing out anything.
Fucking Blender, goddamn.
Say Samuel Adams, like the beer.
Samuel Adams.
Yeah.
How you like them apples?
Oh boy.
Well, your Boston took, I think, 4 or 5 games from my Blue Jays this weekend. Swept them, so.
Oh.
Not cool, Boston.
No, sorry about that. I had nothing to do with it.
I know. I do appreciate the
Imagine if you did. Imagine if you're sitting there like, yes, I want you to know it was me.
Oh, he's sitting there.
It's all my fault.
Head to toe in his Boston Red Sox outfit.
People in Boston with their sports teams, they're fanatical and kind of crazy.
Just right up there with Philadelphia, man. That's crazy.
Well, Philadelphia has Gritty, right?
I can't remember. I know they got rid of. They had to change some names because everything else
he's like
nowadays.
a hockey mascot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like simultaneously the best and worst thing I've ever seen. It's like they've decided that their mascot is going to be like, I don't know, the concept of entropy as a Muppet or something. Like, thing scares the shit out of me. But he looks so.
That's scary.
I would not get in. I would hesitate before trying to fight or hug Gritty. You know.
Have you seen the cake baby, the New Orleans Pelicans cake baby
No.
mascot?
Mm.
Google that, is the scariest thing in the world.
Cake baby?
Oh,
Yeah,
like the baby from King Cake, right?
I'm not sure where it's from, but it's like a thing in New Orleans, the cake baby. It's almost like a Cupid type thing. Well, they've turned
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things in New Orleans is a special kind of cake called King Cake, which
Okay.
is served as part of Mardi Gras, right?
Right.
And they bake different things into the cake, and whatever you bite into or whatever you get in your piece is some kind of sign for what the new year is going to be like.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
like
yeah.
the best thing to get is the baby.
Well, they have this baby. It's like a life-size, like it's the mascot of it, and it is creepy.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
I'm liking your jungle leaves.
Thank you. It was Nathan who suggested a jungle setting.
I had to spell check that word like 3 times. Foliage or foliage.
Foliage? Yeah.
Foliage.
Foliage. Foilagi.
Yeah, that's actually what it spelled like. Folagi. Well, Carl, if you got like a little farm going on there, so do you have to get up like, or not you, but one of you guys or both of you guys have to get up like in the morning and like go pick up chicken eggs and stuff like that at the crack of dawn? And...
No.
Oh.
We've got chickens because Linda wanted to get chickens one day, and we've had them for about 7 years now. And she's got a degree in horticulture, so she can make stuff grow. And I'll have to post a video sometime and show you what she does with the backyard, because we live on an acre of wooded lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she does amazing. She turns the backyard into a garden fortress of solitude. It's really amazing.
I've seen some pictures, and it is pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, I did a walkthrough with my phone and shot a video. I need to post that.
That's pretty cool.
So,
do you guys do a lot of vegetable stuff too? Like, do you guys have a full garden and everything, or just plants?
We have a garden. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by trees, many of which are a North Carolina kind of specific kind of pine tree called the loblolly tree. Those things grow to about 110 feet high. All of them are very mature, and they're blocking a lot of light.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it's getting hard to do a garden, because we were doing things like, I complained one day because I couldn't find the lettuce I wanted, so she came home with seeds and had me plant red leaf lettuce. And it was kind of cool. When I needed to do salad, I just walked out, tore leaves off, walked back into the house. Like, hey, this is neat.
That's neat.
Lettuce is good for the shade, though. If lettuce is in full sun, it tastes super bitter.
And burns pretty easy too.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got to get up early and milk the chickens and stuff?
Milk the chickens.
Milk, yes, we do. And we do have to let them out, because we put them up every night, because we do have critters around here. We have coyotes, which the insurance companies thought would be really clever to put in to help with the deer population.
Nice of them.
So fewer cars would hit deer, and they would have to pay out less money.
Yeah, that
always the coyotes just go to the farmers when the farmers have their cows and eat their calves. We have raccoons.
Raccoons will steal a chicken?
The raccoons just kill chickens because it's fun.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately.
Wow.
Well, I didn't know that.
And chickens are very stupid, and they're interesting in that once they're up for the night, when the sun starts going down, they go to bed really early. Well, once they've been at roost for a little while, they enter this weird kind of almost zombie state and you can't catch them during the day, but when they've been roosting for a minute, you can walk in and just pick all of them up.
Jeez.
Well,
Wow.
what'll happen is if you get a raccoon that comes in there, they won't just take a chicken and eat it.
Yeah.
They'll grab a chicken and they'll kill it, and they'll grab another chicken and they'll kill it.
Because
And
they
these
can.
chickens will just stand there
Hmm.
because they're in this kind of weird zombie state.
A fugue.
So
Zombie
we have
chickens.
to make sure that they are locked in securely in their hen houses at night before we go to bed, because we don't want to raid. So,
Will a raccoon steal eggs and eat eggs? Like chickens?
yeah, and they'll eat chickens.
Huh.
We also have, unfortunately, we can have foxes,
Mhm.
and we have, like I said, all sorts of birds of prey. Because one of the cool things, we just do this kind of chicken zen thing where we could let the chickens walk around the yard and just watch them do their thing. And it's like little dinosaurs running around in the yard.
Yeah.
And they eat everything. They're like
Oh yeah,
baby
chickens will eat.
predators.
Yeah, they're garbage. They're like a vacuum.
Yep. But they also clean a lot of bugs out of your yard. They get rid of ticks, because we get lots of ticks. But we can't do that because we're afraid a hawk will swoop down and snatch one. So I'm going to have to try that black chicken thing. That's a really neat suggestion.
My sister lives in Kenora, which is kind of like a rural town type of thing, like a beach town. And she has a little French bulldog. And same thing, too. She has to be outside with the dog in the backyard because if she leaves, eagles or hawks and stuff will swoop down and try and steal this French bulldog. Like,
yep. We had
I see they get like all.
When the cats were inside and outside, we had a stubby little three-legged orange tabby that we really worried about, because when she hopped around, she looked like a rabbit.
Yeah, okay.
So.
That happens here. Every once in a while, a hawk will fly by and grab a little dog and take off with it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about Stefan's place, but I know in Florida you have to be careful with your dogs and stuff like that too, because they'll get dragged off by critters, not even just alligators, but other stuff too.
Right.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, people don't realize how much animals eat different animals. Like,
well, yeah,
almost anything will stop and eat an animal if it gets the chance.
Yeah, it's not like it's decisive beforehand. They're decisive afterwards. They eat it now and then worry about it later.
Yeah, I mean, a deer will eat a dead raccoon. A chicken will eat anything that holds still and can fit in its mouth. Butterflies eat carrion. Like people don't think about that. Like, pretty much, if it holds still long enough, whatever is closest will eat it.
That is very true.
Sounds like me at a pig picking.
Fair,
As you say, that sounds like the
this is me
buffet.
on Halloween, yeah.
We got Danny Harrell there saying to you, for the chickens, you should put spurs on, let them strap spurs to the back of them, let them defend themselves.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have any roosters because we don't want
Fertilized eggs?
well, we don't want eggs that'll hatch.
Yeah.
And also, some roosters can get extremely aggressive. One of Linda's friends, her son had a rooster, and it kept attacking his girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
And so that rooster became fajitas.
Yeah.
But a rooster will face down anything. To their credit, they will face down anything.
Wow.
For their chickens. So, they'll go after an eagle. They'll go after a hawk. They'll go after a coyote. They don't care.
Well, I guess if you have no rooster there, then you don't have to worry about getting a rooster waking you up at 5:30 in the morning doing its clucking and that, right?
Here's the funny part. We like to joke that we have a trans chicken.
Oh, no.
When you don't have a rooster,
Yeah.
oddly enough, one of the chickens begins to start crowing.
Oh, really? Somebody
No
has to
joke.
do that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it starts out kind of, they start out doing it kind of
Shitty.
It's really weak that they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But after a while, they start sounding like a rooster.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
That's so
So-
funny.
I need to interrupt to ask a question for the chat because I'm getting frustrated. My page is not drying as fast as it needs to. My basement is humid today.
Okay.
So that means I have to crack out a second, like, work on it while it's drying piece. Does the chat
Okay.
want me to do something quick and totally different with just ink? Or should we go in and do the Gonzo Ocarina of Time thing?
I wouldn't wait on the chat there. I would just decide yourself.
Well, I can't decide things with my
Do
own
the-
brain.
Do
Are
the
you
quick,
kidding?
don't do the quick thing. So it's kind of just like a time saver or a time waster. So you can charge your batteries. Don't start another project that's going to drain from this project.
Wait, projects drain out of other projects? Like,
Well, you don't want to waste,
very
not waste,
literally.
but you might not only
Daniel
have.
says draw some.
There you said
Draw
draw some.
some.
That's it.
Draw
Just go
some?
for it.
Ugh.
Danny.
Draw some Muppets. Oh, he said draw.
Danny, I'm going
draw
to need you to pay proper non-safe for work commission prices if you want me to expose this group.
Draw
of
some
delicate-minded,
Muppets.
respectable
He wants to
people.
draw Muppet lovemaking.
How is
Draw
that
some
1990s?
Muppets.
He wants to
Yeah.
show them how Muppets get stuffed.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Nathan.
That's
Okay.
funny.
I don't know what you're
Alright.
stressing over. We're usually drunk when we do this show.
Yeah.
Who's those?
Don't need a rooster for them to reproduce. Oh. Uh-huh.
Janice looks awesome there, man. I love it.
Thank you.
Tell you what. I'm going to let go of the 90s thing for a minute and just do something different to do something different.
Okay.
So, you just want to get Stefan flagged again. Well,
Yeah, like was it the one of the Swamp Thing pictures was flagged for pornography?
yes.
Yeah, that's
Really?
pretty funny.
There was a boob in it. I think
There was a
even
boob.
2.
Whoa.
Oh, I thought his twig was showing.
Whoa.
Ah.
Cool.
That's a full-on branch. Thank you. Put some respect on the man thing. No
Right.
Swamp Thing.
Giant size man thing.
Whoa.
Miracle Grow.
Miracle Girl.
Okay, so
Oh, we're rocking the
Oh.
festive Happy New Year tape now.
Giant man.
yep. Oh yeah.
And
This
size
is
thing.
an event.
It's average
so
man.
let's see. We got a
thing
Janice, we got a
size.
Kermit, we got an animal, we got a piggy.
I don't know if your microphone's cutting out or you're having a stroke.
Stefan's going to buy the Janice. He is going to buy Janice. He is a Janice freak.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was 1998.
But there you go.
Gonzo journalism.
Yeah, I could see Gonzo with
Okay. All right,
With,
so what do we need here? We need the big glasses. We need the hat.
yeah. You need his big
I
long
did one the
cigarette
last
thing.
Huh? And,
Thomas, when you keep popping onto that other thing that keeps popping up there, is that all just different shapes and stuff, or is that different scraping tools, or what is that you keep popping up into, like a catalog thereof?
This,
Yeah, what's that?
these are all different sculpting tools.
That's what it is. Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I probably use 8 of them. But that's this is a really complex program, but
Yeah.
just to do what I need to do, yeah, I don't have to use most of these things. It gets kind of crazy.
Wow.
I had to build the UI so I could get to the tools that I use and get rid of all the rubbish that they put in your face.
Okay.
Because it gets kind of crazy.
Overcomplicates it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have this menu on the right. It has a lot of different tools and processes that you can do.
Right.
And it's just crazy because each one of these things you can drill down into other little menus that have all kinds of crazy stuff in them. And this is the program where, like, in Game of Thrones, they designed the dragons with this program. You know,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it can do some crazy stuff. You can do a Muppet or a dragon. It's up to you.
And all it is just more time and detail. That's all it is, right? You keep breaking it down type of thing. Wow.
All right, let me go make a sword real quick.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Joker Fozzie looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm liking him.
Carl's Terminator frog is just amazing. Your Terminator frog is just amazing.
Thanks.
I saw someone in the chat said that your work is just shows so much expression, Karl, and it's true. It really does, though. Like,
okay, I just keep ink until it looks right to me.
you can feel like how the T1000 there kind of just feels like, you can feel the what he's feeling inside at this moment, or well, you can see it too, actually, but.
Carl's like the master of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that stuff he does with angles is crazy.
Really, really, really well.
No, you're great at bullshitting it then.
Yeah, I can bullshit perspective really, really well. That's about it, man.
It looks awesome when you do it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I always hate it when you're working with a brush, whatever tool you're working with, you kind of don't want to stop. You don't want to put it down because you get really fast, and then all of a sudden you screech to a halt when you have to grab tools.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say you're not using the ink brush to do those straight lines, right? That's a stencil with like just an ink marker or felt pen.
And it's funny, the dudes back in the old days, Marvel and DC, they would draw the war books. They would rule with a brush and a straight edge.
They had
And like you're looking at all that Joe Kubert stuff and some of the Russ Heath stuff, and those tanks were inked with a brush.
Jeez.
Now, would that break down your brush faster because it's rubbing up against something, or no?
Would it what?
I mean, it depends on how you use the brush. If you're pushing against the bristles, it's going to wreck the brush.
Right.
If you're pulling it, it's not going to.
Okay.
Over time,
what those guys would do is you'll take your straight edge like this, hold your brush, and you'll run your fingernail against that straight edge.
Oh, okay. So you got the double there.
And rule the line that way. So they don't actually run the brush right up against the edge.
Okay, that makes sense. Good to go.
But that way they didn't have to keep switching tools and they could work faster. Yeah, those were like demigods, man. Those guys, I'll never stop worshiping Rudy Nevry. Rudy Nevers is probably one of the mightiest ink gods you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Oh man, his brush line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's some reference work for his stuff if somebody wants to check out his work?
Nevers did a lot of the. He inked a lot of the Conan stuff, the magazine.
I knew you were going to say that.
It would have been Rudy Nevers and Tony. I think it's DiZuniga or DiZuniga. Those two dudes, Ernie Chan, who changed his name. He was Ernie Chua. And Marvel had a thing going with a lot of these artists that were Filipino guys who were very much more Warren influenced. And it was those kind of inks that I used to stare at when I was a kid. And they really influenced me a lot.
Yeah.
It's beautiful stuff. And there were a lot of guys that were South American that did the work for Warren because they were really frighteningly good. And frankly, they were cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
I've read that actually.
Yeah.
Do you read stuff nowadays still? Like, do you read new stuff at all, Karl?
Actually, not so much.
Yeah.
Every now and then, I'll see something that'll really get me going.
Like, do you go into a comic store very often, or you just see stuff like on social media and go check out stuff? Like, how do you find out about stuff nowadays?
I'll go occasionally into the stores. Like, I started seeing this guy's stuff online.
I'll pop to your screen here. One sec.
There's a
Oh,
guy
yeah,
named
yeah.
Robert Samelin,
Okay.
and his stuff has I just got ink on the cover. Who cares? And his stuff has it's completely opposite of mine. It's a very open line, almost Mobius kind of European kind of vibe.
Oh, I could see that Mobius part there you're talking about there, feel-wise.
Mobius, also some Joe Kubert here, you know?
Yeah.
Serious Joe Kubert action, but his action is really wonderful. So every now and then I'll see somebody that excites me, and I'll go, "Oh, I gotta buy that person's stuff." But I don't tend to pick up. The colors on this are absolutely beautiful.
That's what I'm noticing.
But I don't tend to roll into the comic store and follow books, which is a shame. So I could not tell you who's who in the last probably 15, 20 years.
Yeah. I like for my show. I like to review all the new books every week, but I mostly try and point out as much indie stuff as possible. And some of the stuff on there is just it's different because it's like you guys, like whenever we have a show, everyone comes on the show, and you guys are all doing the same project, but you all have such different aspects of it, and different takes, and different results, and different journeys to get there. And that's what's cool about all the indie stuff too. Like, there's this one guy, I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with it. Everything he does is watercolors, named Andre Moody.
Cool.
Great stuff. I talk to him all the time. He sent me some stuff last week because I had sent him stuff in that. And what's so cool about his artwork is it's this soft painted artwork, but the material he's painting is like slasher serial killer stuff. So it's like, so it just goes so well together because it's like peanut butter and chocolate. Nobody thought that'd be great until it was put together, right? So
I feel like people had an inkling about peanut butter and chocolate.
Right.
Well, yeah. Gonzo looks pretty funny.
Thank
Or
you.
not funny, but
I'm doing a technique
still
where
colorful. Yeah.
Yep. So what I'm doing is a technique where I can layer color families, and then I'm going to go over the top with other colors, and then go back again with a blending color, and then start scratching through with something sharp to reveal what's below. That feels Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas to me.
That sounds amazing.
I've done it before to great effect. It's messy, so I don't often do it.
Mm-hmm. You
But
should
that's
put
not
gloves on.
supposed-
Rubber gloves.
No, because the scraping, like the oil pastel gets into everything. So it's not
okay.
that it's on my hands, it's that I've got like
Scrapings,
shrapnel all over. But I love you guys, so I'm doing it for you.
Cool. Well, you're doing it for
Aw.
money. But that's okay. I know.
I love
Yes, of course. If you're good at something, you shouldn't give it away for free.
Kind of in the mood to do some whiteout, so I gotta erase over this stuff because the white lifts up if I try to clean up.
Okay. So when you erase like that, the ink doesn't like smudge or get any lighter at all, or are you just very light when you're erasing there, Carl?
It's the kind of ink I use, and this tends
Oh.
not to lift it nearly as bad.
Okay.
And I've gotten really good over the years at not lifting the ink. So just
Right.
a little bit of a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So
Would you say that Terminator 2 is the best sequel ever made?
yes,
Ooh, that's a rough one though.
yes.
That
There's
or
time.
that or Empire Strikes Back, or the second Godfather. That's very classic. I don't know nothing recent, but yeah, the Terminator 2 is probably one of the best sequels ever made.
Okay, movies or sequels? Because if we're going for best sequels, Raimi's second Spider-Man is a real contender.
Yes.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
that's
Raimi,
true.
when he
That's
did
true.
Evil Dead the second
Oh, yeah.
time, it was
Yeah,
really
that's
Yeah.
true.
good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But that's not really a sequel. That's kind of like a soft reboot, because the first one was just
Yeah.
kind of fun. The second one, but I know what you're
Yeah.
saying there. That's true. Wow, that was a fast conversation. I thought for sure you guys would have more best sequels, or not just best sequels, best second sequel, I should say.
Just for me, for the longest time, Terminator 2 stood as the best follow-up, the best sequel, and
Yeah.
best spectacle.
Yeah, like that
Mm.
created a whole new
That
genre
movie
for special effects.
just kicked so much ass.
Yeah.
I can grant that. I can't help but grant that.
I can remember seeing it in the theater and watching the liquid T1000 there and thinking, man, that is like, it's not real, but it was still like, how does that look so real? Like,
That was mind blowing.
yeah, it really was. And to this day, if you watch it, it still holds up pretty good, where a lot of stuff does not age very well.
Man, I'll tell you who's got the best CG going in his movies, and that's Guillermo del Toro.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
Guillermo del
brilliant.
Toro has such high standards.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
brilliant.
It's funny, he has such high standards, but every now and then he does stuff not because it makes sense, but because it's cool and he wants to do it.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
not always that great.
It's the only thing I see that occasionally trips him up. I'm like, dude.
Well, yeah, but that can sometimes be wonderful. Like that's how we got Pacific Rim.
Hmm.
Oh, do not even suggest for a minute the Pacific Rim is not a delight to watch.
You know what? I've never actually watched it because
It is so good. It is. So
I'm not a
much
big
fun.
giant mech suit type of dude, so
It's-
that's why I haven't.
It's not so much. It's about the mechs, yes, and it's about the giant monsters, but it's
Yeah.
about the spectacle.
Mhm.
You know,
For
it's
sure.
a spectacle movie.
I just recently ordered the soundtrack to that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, the guitar work in it is really neat. It's got a
That's
really
cool.
great, really great riff that they repeat throughout the movie.
Yeah, that leitmotif is always useful in films.
The speaking of movies that are spectacles, I recently just watched or rewatched Starship Troopers.
Ha!
That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's such a shame how misunderstood it was, and when it first came out,
Yeah.
people thinking it was seriously trying to praise fascism instead of being like literally a send up of
Mhm.
propaganda movies.
It was totally
Totally.
mocking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the people who made this movie were like their families had been directly impacted by fascists. They were not about to make a movie espousing any of those views. Like I don't know. I suppose it's the source material. The novel it dances on the line a little bit between.
I've never read
making
it.
fun of it.
I've never
The
read it.
novel and the movie are very, 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 very different.
That I've known. I've heard that. Yeah.
Well, also, Paul Verhoeven's sensibilities are insane because as a child, he was stepping over dead bodies in the street in Austria.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
That'll change your life.
yeah, that'll change the way you view things.
Sure.
I love his Total Recall. That's
Mhm.
just bonkers.
Oh yeah. You know what? I actually like Showgirls even. I know it's totally different than that, but Showgirls it's a horrible movie, but at the same time it's still a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, like there can be really bad movies that have useful or beautiful elements to them, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can go and say this movie was a real stinker, but I can see the people inside using that stinker to polish their craft.
Like Nicolas Cage in Ghost Rider.
Like Nicolas Cage
In
is
anything.
he's such a crapshoot because he fully commits to anything he is doing, and
Yeah.
if the movie is shit and the role is insane, then he is both shit and insane.
A lot of times that's just the reason itself to watch the movie.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, if you
He did great in Color Out of Space. I really
I love
liked
that movie. That was so
Yeah.
good.
Well, like I
haven't
said,
seen
I might
Mandy
watch
yet.
I
I've
might
heard
watch
Mandy's great.
I might watch the Dracula one after this, so we'll see.
Oh, did any of you guys see the Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff movie Nicolas Cage was in?
No.
Yeah, I did it because they had a comic for it too. It's called something Willy or something, right?
Yeah,
Something Willy.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. Yeah, I watched it. I read the comic and then I saw the movie afterwards because I said, "This is a movie with Nick Cage," and yeah, it was not good.
Yeah. Also an enjoyable watch. Definitely, I'm glad I watched
because
it.
of Nick Cage.
Not a good movie, but very enjoyable.
Yeah, I did see that. That one where he plays Nick Cage, the what's it called, the encumbrance of being Nicolas Cage or whatever movie where he's just playing himself is amazing too. So
That's a very being John Malkovich
Yeah.
situation.
That's
Yeah,
what I was just
exactly.
going to say that.
yeah.
interesting, there was a lot in Ghost Rider that actually kind of worked, and there's sort of like the first Daredevil. There was some seriously cool stuff in Daredevil, the first one, that worked.
Yeah, I think people
And
just like to
then there's
rip on
other
them.
aspects. It's like, geez, guy, come on.
Are we talking about the Ben Affleck Jennifer Gardner one?
Yes,
Yeah.
there are pieces of that I think work extraordinarily well, and then it stops on a dime and becomes a piece of crap.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater, and I remember feeling such whiplash because I started out thinking, "Oh, this is great! I love this movie." At the end, I was like, "What happened?"
I just remember laughing so hard when Colin Farrell flicked that peanut in the airplane and made the old lady choke to death. That was the
Forgot
best
about
part.
that.
It's like,
Well, the way they portrayed him as how he could never get anything worked for him. I mean, his luck was just everything turned to shit.
Murdoch
I
left.
remember
Yeah.
critics going, comic movies were supposed to be fun, and I'm going, no, you don't get the point of Daredevil because
Yeah.
Daredevil's life does not work.
That's right.
Yeah.
There is a director's cut of that movie that actually kind of works.
Actually, I've seen that, and you're right. It does work. And same with the spin-off of the Elektra. It's not good at all. It's not really
Right.
that bad. It's just
And what they did with the release cut of Daredevil was, the guy that directed it said his whole point was nothing went right for him, and they turned it into a "you killed my girlfriend" movie.
Ugh.
So
And we've all seen a million "You Killed My Girlfriend" movies. We don't need another "You Killed My Girlfriend" movie.
nope.
well, it depends on how interestingly you do it, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can want another "I Killed Your Girlfriend" movie, but we don't need it. Is all I'm saying.
Right. It's
We
it's
don't
like
need
one of the
anything.
reasons The Thing is one of my favorite flicks, because
Which one?
The Thing and The Descent, they didn't have to cram a love interest into The Thing, and they didn't have to cram a love interest into The Descent. And
The
both
Descent
those
is
movies
beautiful.
are
The-
fucking great.
Are you like the Thing is in the 50s one, or the Kurt Russell one, or the one from a couple of years ago?
Only the Kurt Russell one is
I'm
good.
thinking the Kurt Russell one.
Russell.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. One of the
The-
scary.
So-
That movie's still scary as fuck nowadays. I just
Yeah.
watched that the other day too, and you watching the special effects in there and knowing that it's done practical makes you even more scared.
And somehow it
Well-
got horrible reviews when it was released.
Originally, it
Well,
did,
because it was released the same month as E.T. So
Yeah.
Spielberg hit the public with, "Don't we love aliens, loving, friendly aliens?" And then John Carpenter was like, "No, they puke like
Acid on you.
soul-eating
Yeah.
monsters onto you." And
Right.
people were like, "Wait a
Right.
second, this isn't what I ordered."
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
John Carpenter said theirs was cute and ours was mean.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
So
the
speaking of
prequel-
movies that are good and didn't cram an unnecessary love interest in, and I'm bringing it back up because Pacific Rim, it could have gone there and it didn't, and I'm so grateful that it didn't.
Okay.
The Dungeons and Dragons movie, they could have like tried to shoehorn in a love interest thing, and they didn't.
They touched on it a little bit, but not too much.
What, the Dungeons and Dragons movie? Well, with the
Yeah.
young kid, with the
Yeah,
teenagers,
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was really nice to see a movie that had like a male and female like duagonists, like two leads, and it wasn't a romance. There wasn't even a suggestion of romance.
Oh yeah,
Like,
those two. Yeah, I thought that was funny actually.
that was so refreshing in my opinion.
What were you gonna say there, Carl? You were talking as well.
The prequel thing is interesting to look at. My problem with it is it destroyed all the mystery of the first movie.
Well, yeah.
You know, when they're walking through the Norwegian camp and you see that axe buried in the wall, and you're
Yeah.
going, "What in the fuck happened here?" You don't need that answered. You can jam on what happened here, and that's all you need.
That's
So-
why when the Blair Witch first happened, you know, you just had the weird ending there. You leave it at that. You don't answer it. People are all scared and everything. You don't have to go out and make sequels. And I think they're making a prequel now that explains why that they end up in the corner in the basement and stuff. Like that's just gonna ruin it, man. It's like you're showing the magic behind the curtain, right? So.
You
And
know,
that movie scared the shit out of me. I was an overnight camp counselor
Ah,
in the middle
Oh,
of
boy.
nowhere.
ah,
And I come off a night shift, no sleep, go and see Blair Witch. Bad choice.
Make your
Like-
son watch that before he goes to camp this year.
Yeah,
Right?
no, he's not.
Well, he should have
I
seen
don't
it
I don't
already.
need to be arrested for
I
like
should have seen it already.
Seen it already. He's 9 years old. Dad, what are you doing over there?
I don't know, being like ethical and shit, I guess.
you know, I don't know if they probably already have, but one of my favorite things about the Hellboy comics
Hmm.
Mhm.
is that they said that they found Abe Sapien floating in a tube in St. Trinian's Church. And there
Yeah,
was a note stuck on the tube that was the same day that Abraham Lincoln died.
yeah.
like-
There,
Don't tell me anymore.
there was all kinds of cool stuff in Hellboy like that.
You don't tell me anymore. I want to leave it like that. I don't want to know. So yeah, it's why I like watching all that UFO and Bigfoot crap on YouTube, because I'd rather have that mystery and wonder about that stuff.
Well,
Carl, you'll like one on YouTube called the Y Files.
I love
And,
that
like,
show.
You've seen
I've
that
seen
one?
that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's a good show because he does it all first and makes it out sound, and then he'll go into bunk a little bit afterwards. So it's pretty cool. And that fish, I know that fish is just
Hecklefish.
him. Hecklefish is so funny.
I don't. For some reason, I'm not liking I don't like the silliness. I saw one of those. I'm like, I don't dig the fish. It wasn't hitting me right.
It didn't hit me at first, the fish. I didn't like it, but after a couple episodes, the fish gets me up pretty good.
One of my big rabbit holes I went down was bedtime stories.
Oh yeah.
I really dug that. Sometimes, here's my deal. If I start with a blank piece of paper and I got to create something from nothing,
Uh-huh.
I need music or no noise. But once I get into inking, because inking is so autonomic now,
Uh-huh.
I need something to run in the background to distract the other half of my ADHD brain,
Yeah.
mhm.
or I will get bored and not stay on point and wander off and do things.
That's why I have YouTube boys going on in the background here.
Same
Yeah.
here.
So
Yeah.
there's a rotation of movies, like most of them are John Carpenter movies, that I know I don't have to look at because I've heard them so many times. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
I'll pull up something like bedtime stories, and they have a couple hundred episodes now, and I'll just hit play all and let that roll while I ink.
Well, here's something you should check out on YouTube as well too. I don't know what it's called because I've seen it on a few different things where they have. I think in the '80s they did it. Must have been the '80s, early '90s. They did a bunch of old radio shows of the Twilight Zone. So they redid some of the old ones and they made some all new ones and have like Stacy Keach as a Rod Serling type of role.
Nice.
So it's I listen to those all the time, and again, it's actual done radio style, so you don't have to pay attention to it, just listen to it, and it's so cool.
I just recently bought the whole series. I think it was only 1 or 2 seasons of the Night Gallery.
Oh, I have those too.
that's
That's
great.
Amazing. Those were a little bit darker than Twilight Zone, and that's really
Yeah.
hard to find those. But yeah,
There's
I had
so
those
many
too.
good old scary radio shows out there. There's one there's an old one Archer Obler did called Lights Out Everybody,
Okay.
and it came on late at night, and the shtick is turn out the lights and listen, and it starts out with like this grandfather clock going down, and it's going off, and it's like it is
Okay.
later than you think, and then like there's such good
That
stories in
sounds
there.
familiar.
Yeah, it's good. If you can find any of the old Lights Out stories, they're pretty good.
I'm sure they have it on YouTube as well too. Probably just Google that up or YouTube it up. Yeah, it's neat because then you can listen to it in the background. And again, to have something that's done in a like, radio presentation style, it has to be really good to make you pay attention or keep your attention, right? So that's what I like about it too. So, and they got some neat actors in there. Like I said, they have Stacy Keach. One episode they had a younger Luke Perry. Just all kinds of random actors and actresses
Oh, wow.
in there. So yeah.
I've only started drilling through the Night Gallery's first disc, and the story with the paintings.
Yeah.
And Roddy McDowell is such an asshole. It's fun watching Roddy McDowell, and you know he got that script, and you said, "Yay, I get to be a jerk."
Yeah,
And
totally
he is
true.
such an ass. Yeah.
All right, my fine artist friends, we're getting to the end of our evening here, so
Is it really already that time?
Wow.
it is almost that
You have
time.
had so much fun.
Yep.
Look at that.
It's
And,
been a lot of fun today.
I will let everybody have the floor to themselves for a couple of minutes, and they can promote whatever they like about themselves, let people know what their details are for their social media, and what you got going on in the future, if anyone's hitting any cons in the next little bit or projects or stuff. So we can start off with Thomas. Why don't you go first?
Hey, well, you can find me on Etsy with Curiosities by Thomas, and on Instagram and Facebook, all those places, and TikTok under the same name. And I'll just be making models, and if anybody wants anything made, any custom work, you can hit me up on any of those platforms, and I'll make it for you.
That sounds pretty cool.
One of these days, I got to pick your brain about how the heck you make TikTok work.
I haven't yet tackled that either, so.
I'm no master at it yet, but yeah.
That's pretty cool. Miss Casey, what would you like to say?
Oh, well, you can find me on all the different social medias by searching Casey Wilson Art, and that is KC, not like Casey Jones. I'm not that cool.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 cons planned this year. I'm planning to do Phoenix Con in Appleton because it's like right next door, and that's in June, the weekend of the 12th. And then I'm going to Granite State in September. I really want to have some work to show you guys there and make you all proud of me this year. So we will see how that goes.
And like you mentioned tonight too, you got that potentially that new art project or art teaching project coming up on the Tags channel.
Yeah, that's true. So you guys will have an opportunity to see me again.
Yeah, so that'd be very cool. All right, Mr. Karl, what would you like to bless us with?
Working on this project with Dan Chichester, Axel's Infernal.
Mhm.
Two truck drivers delivering hell, basically. It is a batshit crazy story.
Sounds
That's
It
cool.
like
really is. Yeah.
And where can people find you socially?
Well, let's see. I got fired off of Facebook because I have opinions,
Yep.
and I actually don't miss it. It's really done me a lot of good. So right now you can find me on Instagram. I set up a Twitter account, but I avoid Twitter because if I don't, I'll get up there and pick fights.
Mhm.
So you know, we shall see. That's about it for now, man.
That's pretty cool. And are you taking commissions and going on cons and stuff at the moment, or no?
Uh, I am so hell bent on trying to get this project done because it's been absolutely forever. I would tell you how long it's been worked on, but you'd yell at me,
Okay.
and I'm kind of not committing to anything until this is actually Kickstarter. I'll let
Oh, cool.
everybody know when it is.
That's awesome.
So that's about all I got for now.
Cool.
All right.
And Mr. Nathan, what would you like to say?
Yeah. Well, I'm just heading back to the States. Once I'm there, then I'll start organizing some tattoo conventions and doing those. You'll find me at Nathan Phillips _art
Yeah.
on Instagram and on Facebook, just under Nathan Phillips. And yeah, that's me. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah,
It's
you're welcome.
been
I always enjoy having you. I think too that we should try and push for you to have a live superhero tattoo on a tag show too. That'd be great.
yeah, that would be
I
awesome.
will
Yeah.
I'll definitely push for that. I've got
Cool.
another artist that I would like to pull in on one of the nights.
Uh-huh.
His name is Wolf. He works with me at the studio in Colorado Springs, and
Cool.
he's a great artist. He would be a good additive as well. Maybe do like a tattoo-a-thon or something.
That would
I
be
wanna
super
hear
cool.
the story of how you
Things
came
are getting
from South
tatty.
Africa to Colorado.
Oh yeah, tell that story. You can tell that fast.
You don't have to tell it now. I just want to hear it someday.
Oh, okay. He can't hear
Yeah.
you, so I'll tell you. But Carl wants to hear the story from you, how you came from South Africa to Colorado Springs, but it doesn't have to be right now. So.
And it's an easy one. I know the owner of the tattoo studio in Colorado Springs, and that was just like the way in a way. If I can.
That's
put it
pretty
that
sweet. If you want to come up to Winnipeg, you could tattoo whatever you want on me and film it. So.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's do that.
All right, man.
Once I'm
Winnipeg.
back, let's
Woohoo!
organize that.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That'd be super sweet,
down.
man.
Yeah.
Wow. If
Let's
that
do it.
actually happens, I guess I have to go through with that now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, we'll
Do
see
you
what
have any
happens.
tattoos?
I do have one tattoo. I have the Boston Celtics face logo on my above my heart,
Oh, nice.
and I've had that since I
Cool.
was 19. So my tattoo can vote for quite a while now already because I'm old. So. All right,
I
everybody.
will do it, dude. I'm done.
I'll do that for sure. I don't mind. I have not hairy. I'm nice and white. I'm pretty much like parchment. So this is perfect for you. So.
Awesome. That sounds great.
All right. On that creepy note, this has been the Muppets Mashup, last one of the season for tags. Thank you for everybody who attended tonight, whether it was participating with chatting or doing artwork itself. Yeah, I'm glad to see you guys all come. Hope you stuck around. And the most important part is stay tuned to the tags Facebook page. These pieces will all be going up for auction most likely Monday or Tuesday. I'll say Tuesday most likely because that's how it seems to go. And everyone here will finish up their stuff and post their work. And yeah, we'll hope to see you guys all again in another next week or so. So take care, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.